I love how once I'm about 5 seconds late to starting, and Stan Geezy's saying he's checking his watch. Come on, man, give me a break there. Welcome everybody back to Thursday Night Reconnected, and as usual, one of my favorite people is joining tonight, and we have the incredible Planet Mondo. And for those of you that did not watch the last time he was on Reconnected, lover of all things disturbing, lover of all things Arthouse, incredible artist, great YouTube channel. And the biggest thing, he is the man behind all of the art for the Physical Media Advocate. Welcome, Planet Mondo. You are muted, my friend. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I didn't want my chair to make noises while you're talking. Yeah, man, I appreciate the invite. And I just want to take this moment because I haven't been on here for a couple of months, man. I am super proud of you, the community you've built. You're one of the most commendable people that I've met in this community. You know, you respect the craft of
Thank
it.
you.
You keep me informed on all the releases. I mean, you're the only one that I pretty much follow. So I appreciate it, man. It's all love, man. I appreciate the opportunity, and I love working with Ryan. Ryan's a great dude. So just want to give him some props and tell him how proud I am. Because I mean, I was watching you pretty much as soon as you started.
Yeah,
And yeah,
it's been
you've
a
grown
long
a
time
lot.
with you and I. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man. Pleasure
Um,
to be here.
I really have loved Mondo stuff for a long time, and for those that have not checked out the physical copies of the Physical Media Advocate, I don't think these would be what they are without your work. I mean, the art on some of these, and I just happen to have all of them. This is my favorite at the moment. Oh yeah, look at that. This is I think the best thing because it's the tribute to Roger Corman, and then got to go with the classic Killer Clowns, of course. This was a great piece. Um, I've been so honored to have your stuff gracing the cover of every issue. And on that note, we have our 12th issue dropping on the 1st of September. And now live, we get to share the art for the next issue right now with everybody. Check this out. This is the cover of issue number 12 of the Physical Media Advocate. It is going to be of happiness, which is a great segue to our discussion tonight, which is going to be on disturbing art house films, which I expect nothing less from you. That's a perfect choice. And of course, happiness goes right in with it. We're going to talk about that after the announcements tonight. Everybody can pick this up on the 1st of September on Amazon or all of the wonderful retail stores that have started carrying the Physical Media Advocate. We'll talk about one of those a little more in depth as we go through the announcements tonight. So I got to ask, why disturbing art house when we get to that tonight? Why is that a thing that you love?
Honestly, I don't know. I started out on YouTube, almost making like little video essays on disturbing films, and I had to quit. Honestly, I mean, it was doing pretty well. I think my biggest video was up to like 60,000 views, but the amount of hours I was putting into creating those, it was just burning me out completely, and I wasn't able to keep
Yeah.
up. To be honest with you, for me to create any kind of content on YouTube would probably have to be live stream. People don't realize how many hours goes into editing one of these videos. It's surreal how many hours it takes. So I just couldn't keep up, honestly, and I feel like I could have built a following based on reviewing disturbing films, but I just honestly
Yeah.
could not keep up with my work schedule. So I had to fall back from YouTube for a little while. I still watch everybody's content. Still, I mean, I love the movie community. It's just hard for me to personally make content, but I am looking to, start doing some more live streams, maybe some pickup videos and so forth. But why disturbing movies? I don't have an answer for that. I think I was exposed to Cannibal Holocaust at a very young age by accident. Um, I used to go on the Joe Blow forums way back in the day, with Arrow in the Head. And I started discovering all these films, and I had to buy the bootlegs because they weren't available at the time. So,
Right.
I got Salo and Cannibal Holocaust and all these films when I was like 15, 14. And just did something to me. It disturbed me. It made me feel some type of way. And I don't get scared from horror movies anymore. So I feel like this is as close as I could get that kind of reaction out of myself,
Right.
is to disturb myself. But films like the Serbian film, like I don't. It's not something I want to rewatch necessarily. It doesn't bother me to watch those films, but it's not joyful for me to watch those kind of movies. I think I like to be disturbed on the low. I think I'm a
Right.
little sadistic in that way. But yeah, man.
I feel exactly the same way. A lot of these films I genuinely watch to this is going to sound like I'm dead inside, but to feel something. A lot of these movies, it's to make you, you know, kind of chase that boundary of what you're willing to watch, what you're willing to put yourself through, and it's a great exercise. Obviously, I can't do it 5 days a week, but they're fun when you do them. Let's get into some recent pickups since you've not been doing a lot of content recently. What have you been picking up? I know you and I both kind of taken a little bit of a back seat on some of these pickups, so very curious
Yeah.
what you're choosing.
So I'll just I'll share some stuff that I picked up, I guess, over the last month and a half or so. I got Bully. Haven't opened it
Speaking of
yet, but
disturbing,
yeah, got to check this out. I do have kids, so I had to match that one. During the last Criterion sale, I got Mean Street. I believe on back here. Yeah, Mean Streets on 4K. Also got Raging Bull. I did also pick up Triangle of Sadness. I just forgot to bring it out here, but After Hours on 4K as well. I've actually never seen After Hours, so that's going to be my first time watching it.
Last September, like right when it came out last year, was the first time I'd ever seen it, and
Yeah,
since then I've already watched it twice more. It is that good. It's such
yeah.
a great movie.
I will have to check that out. I got Civil War, the Amazon exclusive lenticular.
Nice.
Recently picked that up. Got both of the Jaws 3 and Jaws Revenge.
Sweet.
Haven't checked out the transfers yet. I know about the AI and the controversy, so looking forward to that. I didn't pick up
overblown,
Balboa,
I think.
but I did pick up Rocky 4 and 5.
I love that they're all stylized the same.
Same. The only thing that annoys me is the fact that Jaws 1 does not match these.
Yeah.
You know, the spine is completely white and it's just like, it just stands out. But, you know, that's my OCD kicking in. I'm a little late to the game with this one, but was able to still pick this up. The Killer Clowns from Outer Space Steelbook. Thinner. Very underrated Stephen King film. This is one of my favorite Stephen King films. Like I
talked about that last night in a recording, and I edited the interviews that's on that disc. That's a fun disc.
Nice. Immaculate and Poor Things. Picked those up last week, and I was honestly surprised to have Poor Things with a slipcover still. So
still, yeah.
Shout out to my Walmart. And The First Omen.
Nice.
Very underrated. I feel like you haven't seen it.
Not yet.
Oh, dude, you're gonna be surprised. I went into it expecting a very generic horror movie.
Yeah.
And it's very similar to Immaculate. I'll just leave it at that if you've seen that. From Orbit DVD, City of the Living Dead on 4K. Love this cover, by the way.
Yeah, it's a nice cover.
Yeah, beautiful. And then the last two with Scorsese films. So I got Taxi Driver and The Departed.
A lot of Scorsese love tonight.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I had to catch up.
Well, speaking of catching up, I am only going to talk about one company tonight for pickups, and that is the incredible somebody that you and I both like, Deaf Crocodile. I got in their Kickstarter box for the Patushko titles, and this box is gorgeous. And then, of course, inside of it, it came with the fourth of their Patushko films. This is Ruslan and Ludmila. There's the back of the slip. And then I also got in their second of their deluxe titles that they've put out since leaving OCN and going with Diabolic DVD. And the art on these just overwhelmingly amazing. This is Adela Has Not Had Supper Yet, and it's the hard box release with the book and the Amaray case on the inside. This is the back. But maybe most exciting, because technically this is not even up for pre-order until tomorrow. Look at the next release from them, which is In the Moscow Slums. And this is one of the best pieces of artwork on a release this year, I think. And got to show the Amaray too, because the inside is gorgeous. This is like love to this Sherlock Holmes film that is incredible. I got to say, this movie is a lot of fun, and I think people will like this release. The main reason that I have this early, and you cannot pre-order this, and I will hold this up as close as I can, because you'll see new visual essay by me and Dr. Will Dodson, and we did a lot of work on this one, and I think people are going to appreciate this release. It is kind of a beautiful film, even though it's called In the Moscow Slums. It is shot in a way that is incredibly colorful, and anybody that's liked some of the more obscure fare from Deaf Crocodile, which is literally everything, I think you're really going to love this film. It is a very interesting period piece from 1902 that is a version of Sherlock Holmes' The Sign of the Four story, but there is no Holmes in the film. It is two individuals that are playing sort of the Holmesian detective-like character traveling through the slums of Moscow and trying to find out why these people keep dying. And it's beautiful. I think people are going to love it. Great release. Really great booklet on it. And again, this is one of my votes for best art of the year. I think this cover is going to make some people very, very happy. That is Deaf Crocodile at the moment. That goes up for pre-order tomorrow. And yeah, there's some more stuff from Deaf Crocodile that will be up tomorrow, and we will talk about that more tomorrow afternoon. What about some recent watches? What have you been checking out?
Mainly just pretty much my pickups. Recently I did a double feature of The Omen and Immaculate. It's a toss up between the two, man. They're neck to neck. I was really impressed by the first Omen. Like, I did not expect me to love it as much as I did.
Yeah.
And it's pretty explicit. Like, they show some stuff that you would not expect. I think it's 20th Century Fox, right? They're the ones that put it out. Yeah. I would not expect them to put out this kind of film. This is a film that I would expect from maybe like Neon. I was not expecting it from 20th Century Fox. Hadn't seen Poor Things yet. Just recently watched that. Beautiful films. I mean, if I ever take mushrooms again, I'm watching Poor Things. I feel like I would have the best time of my life doing that. Civil War, hadn't seen that at the theater, so unfortunately I missed out on the IMAX experience. I know the sound was amazing and all that, but bit of a letdown. It wasn't a bad film at all. I liked it, but it just wasn't necessarily exactly what I was expecting.
Yep.
Didn't really remind me of an A24 film. You know what I mean?
Not at all.
It didn't. And I don't have a problem with A24 going mainstream. I want them to do that because I want them to have more of a budget to do these weirdo films. So,
right.
I want them to succeed, but it didn't have those quote unquote A24 vibes at all. So, bit of a letdown, but I still liked it. I did recently watch Kids. I hadn't seen Kids since damn near I was a kid. Great transfer. I mean, dude,
Yeah.
Umbrella's doing some amazing stuff. I'm trying to think what else I've seen. I think that's about it recently. I haven't had too much time to watch any kind of pickups. Most of my pickups, man, they sit around for a couple months. I do eventually get to them. I'm not one of those people that just collects boxes. I do watch them. But yeah, there's actually two more that are in my list for later, so I don't want to spoil those, but we'll get into those later.
Perfect. I watched Kids about 5 or 6 months ago with my mom and my wife, and neither one of them had ever experienced it, and they were both just, what is this movie? I loved it.
It's not as bad as people claim
No.
it is. It's really not. I don't find it disturbing at all. It's very realistic. I mean, most of us probably went through a similar stage in our life. It resonated a lot with me when I was a teenager. So,
Yeah.
I have a soft spot for it. I never considered it a disturbing movie.
No, I mean, the most disturbing part about it, I guess, is that like 14-year-olds are speaking like that. But in all reality, that was life in 1995. That was very true to life.
Yeah, exactly. I guess that's why I don't find it disturbing, because it was realistic. You know what I mean? It's how people lived in the 90s. So
fully agree. Some recent watches for me. I had a super rare triple feature this last Sunday. I was over at our man KB's house, and we watched Fall, the film from 2022 about the two females getting caught up on the radio tower and the ladders collapsing and all that. It was decent. I thought it was pretty well done. Very pretty movie. I absolutely love the way they shot it. Definitely had a lot of vibes of Adam Green's Frozen for me. A lot of the similar beats. Love Adam Green's Frozen. So if you've never seen Fall or you've never seen Adam Green's Frozen, completely recommend both. Then we checked out the Via Vision release of Welcome Home, Roxy Carmichael, which none of us had ever seen. And it's a very 80s feeling film. 80s feeling film, even though it was released in 1990. It's got a lot of those faces that you'll watch and go, holy shit, I know these people from who knows what, but you'll recognize them because they're from sort of everything back then. Really decent movie. I wouldn't say it was mind-blowing or anything. Very like common 80s film with some very similar storylines to what you've seen back then, undoubtedly. And then with my Patreon in the Discord Sunday night, we all watched together The Long Good Friday. And obviously, classic Bob Hoskins. There was a handful of people in there that had never seen it before. The movie's amazing, of course, and we got to blow some minds together. And I'm so glad that everybody liked it. It was a really great time. One other thing that I watched in the last week that I really wanted to shout out. Finally checked out. I saw the TV Glow. Have you watched that one yet from this year?
No, but I did just recently order it from the A24 website, so I'm waiting for it to come in. But that's definitely going to be something I'm probably going to watch in the next week. I'm
Yeah,
excited for it, man. I'm a sucker for A24. I'm an A24 apologist for the most part. They're the ones that brought me back into film collecting because I discovered Hereditary, and I was like, oh, shit, I gotta
yeah,
own this. Like, I have to own this movie. Then it just, you know, I'm back where I started because I used to collect
yeah.
DVDs. Like as soon as they came out, I still have, I don't know, 1,500 DVDs that are all
Right.
beautiful and collectibles that I don't do anything with anymore. But always was a collector. I just fell out for about 10 years. I just lost my love for horror, man. During the mid 2000s to 2015 ish, I just
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
checked out of horror. There was really nothing that was you know grasping my attention.
Yeah, I think you're really gonna like it. It is very much a vibes sort of film. It's a gorgeously shot film. The colors in the movie are beautiful, and knowing your age, I think a lot of these are gonna hit home for you quite a bit. The second half of the film really goes there. I think it's kind of incredible, and thanks to Ronnie. Ronnie says it will be streaming on Max starting on September 20th. So if you are one of those that want to check it out before you buy it, I think it's worth the purchase, especially if you were alive in the '90s and at least I don't know 4 years old to 20 years old in the '90s. You're probably really going to love it. It is an incredible film and a very very surprising ending and some of the way that they weave the story together. The director, I think, really accomplished something when when you find out why the movie was made. It'll impress a lot of people. It's a pretty engaging story. Other than that, anything else that people should check out for you? Let's give a shout out to any plans to do some live streams or anything like that coming up.
Well, I do a podcast where we discuss basically entertainment news for the most part, horror films coming out. It's called Spitball Media. So we're on YouTube. We also have a podcast. You can check it out on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts. We do
Yeah,
have a Patreon. There's about 80 to 90 members. We do some live streams over there. So check that out. Once again, it's called Spitball Media. But that's the only plug that I really got. You can follow me. I do a lot of artwork on Instagram. My Instagram is planet.mondo. Um, yeah, once again, I appreciate the plugs. Let me ask you a question though, since you mentioned
yeah.
the A24 exclusive. How do you feel about them putting out these exclusives? Me personally, I've been buying all of them, but I kind of don't like the fact that it's so limited. You know what I mean? Like you have to go to their website and spend $45 just to be able to watch The Lamb or
Well,
Marcel.
I will say those are two kind of bad examples because I think Marcel and the Lamb were only 35 and not 45. However, I think the big thing is A24 has this deal with Lionsgate. They only work with Lionsgate. And so far, it appears that there are a lot of choices that Lionsgate is unwilling to make about some of their films. So if it's not commercial enough, like Lamb is not a commercial film in any way, I don't think they're willing to put it out. So if the only way we can get it is to get it for $35 from their website, at least there's an option. That's the way I'm looking at it. The other side, though, is there's some things coming out on the A24 website that are far too expensive. Obviously, we got to point out, I think it was $86 after shipping or whatever for the recent, I don't even need to get into it. It's a music documentary. We all know which one I'm talking about, but it should not have been priced that high. It's a 4K. It should have been less than $50, period. And it was literally $86 after shipping. That is crazy pants money. Let's see. The other thing, I mean, I like their packaging. I like that they are somewhat styled the same. I know a lot of people are against the tall ones that they do, and then the short ones that they do. But
Yeah.
the tall ones are only coming out for stuff that got a release previously, and so for that, I mean, I don't mind it too much. At least it's differentiated from the Lionsgate version.
Yeah, I wish they were all kind of the same. I would appreciate a little bit more consistency. I do have the Midsommar one. I
Yeah,
love the packaging. I just hate how big it is. You know,
yeah. It's
it's
not
just it
shelf
looks
friendly at all.
awkward. Yeah, it looks awkward on the shelf. But you know what though? I'll shut my mouth because if the only way to get these films is to pay $45 exclusively to A24, I will cough up that $45 because again, I want to support them. I'm a big supporter of A24 and Neon Films. Like they brought me back into film, so
Yeah.
I'll give them all the money I can. You know, I won't pay. I think it was $50 for the Marcel rock. Do you remember that? Or no, it
Ye-
wasn't. It wasn't. Was it from Marcel? It was a. I think they had a
Oh
rock.
no! Everything, everywhere, all at
Yeah,
once.
with the googly eyes, and it was like $45 for a literal rock with googly eyes.
Yes,
I was like, dude,
yes.
that's come on. But
Yeah, I mean, they sell shirts that are $120. That's not exaggerating. There's literally, what's it called, ceramics, something. I don't remember the company name, but yeah, they literally sell $120 shirts. They sell, some of their vinyl is overpriced. They have very limited, expensive posters. But I mean, we're talking about the limited thing. Yes, this is the only site to get them, but so far, they don't appear to be limited, at least. Like, the Midsummer is still available, and I know that thing is sold like hotcakes. So, online ceramics, thanks, Humboldt. At least they're not limited to 1,000 copies and then they're gone forever. Because some of their stuff that's gone out of print has sold for crazy money. I mean, they did, I think they did posters for X and Pearl so far and not Maxine, if I remember right. And those sold out in like minutes. And then immediately a $40 poster the next day was $250 on eBay. And that's crazy.
I have seen those posters. Yeah, they're up towards the price of like $300 now on eBay because I
Yeah.
did want to grab that X poster, but I am not coughing up $300.
No, thank you.
It's not happening. I know it's screen printed and it's beautiful and all that, but if it's $40 on the website, I just can't cough up $300 for somebody to
Right.
do that.
I
Can't do
might go 50, 55, but no,
it. Yeah,
definitely not 300.
yeah.
Toby Woby here is bringing up a good point with Cretia. This was an odd one because this was before they started their whole limited release. I don't know the inner workings on this deal, but I have a feeling that this was just an internal licensing deal that they got for this one film specifically. And first off, this film has been reprinted like 4 or 5 times, so it wasn't quite as limited. However, this one was more limited, so this one is not available on their website. But yeah, I have a feeling that this one was a completely different thing than what they're doing right now, because that was years ago. That was like a year or two before the Midsummer release. I don't even think they were prepared to start doing it like that.
Are you
Crazy.
surprised that we're not getting a Hereditary like limited edition exclusive? Because I mean that's one of their bigger films, and it's just got a bare 4K, and
I
it's been a while. Even Second Sight, like I need a better edition of Hereditary. I feel
Right.
like.
And I mean, the hard part is overseas, their licensing is not just as simple as one company doing it like it is in the States. So I know Arrow did the Lighthouse in the UK, but supposedly the Lighthouse had very different licensing than literally every other A24. But now Second Sight has done a handful of others. They've done The Witch, they've done It Follows, which is not A24. They've done a couple others.
Green
Green
Room is
Room, yeah.
A24.
And so it's possible that they might have access to some, but I don't know. I mean, would I like a big version? Yeah. I mean, it's one of the best movies of all time with literally like a top 20 of all time performance from somebody. And I would love to see some reflection on that. And especially now that it's been what, 8 years since it came out, 7 years since it came
Yeah,
out.
2018, I think. Yeah, eight
Yeah.
years.
It would be an incredible way to look back on how it's grown in esteem since then. Because, yeah, it made like the most money for A24 at the time, but A24 was still tiny when that came out, so that was not huge accolades. What it is now, though, is a behemoth. It put it put the director on the map. It put Tony Collette back on the map. It's an incredible story of that film, and obviously it's still giving people nightmares. Yeah, I'd love a bigger release.
And I love how it splits the room. I mean, that and Midsommar, you either love it or hate it. You
Yeah.
know, films like Ari Aster all the time, dude. It's the same reaction to every film he makes. You either love it or you absolutely hate it. And
This is
I've loved all three. Even Beau Was Afraid. I watched that in the movie theater. It was a great experience. Another one that I would probably watch on mushrooms. I feel like I feel like it would be a great time. Only done it twice in my life, but if I ever do it again, I know which ones to watch.
Kev from Almost Major in the chat says the Krisha Blu-ray is selling for Jesus Christ, $150 to $275 on eBay for a Blu-ray that came out that was $20, and there's not much on that. Like, the film is good, sure, but $275. What in the hell?
Dude, I could never do that. Never ever. Even if I had $300 to toss away on a Blu-ray, I'd rather buy a bunch of Blu-rays instead of
Right.
I'm not doing that.
I
It's
mean, you
ridiculous.
could buy, the more expensive second sight releases. You could buy at least 3 or 4 of those. That's crazy. Huh. All right, time to get into some announcements. And speaking of Second Sight, that is who we're starting with tonight. First up is we are getting 2024's Late Night with the Devil on Blu-ray and 4K in this deluxe edition box set. This is going to be a dual format release with a brand new audio commentary with Alexandra Heller-Nicholas and Josh Nelson. There's going to be a bunch of extras on here. We've got interviews with the cast and crew, making of some of the music on this. We've got a South by Southwest Q&A. And then, of course, their standard Second Sight deluxe edition box set content, such as the 120-page book that is going to be in this with a bunch of new essays by some fantastic writers, including Graham Skipper. 6 collector's art cards. This looks like a pretty solid release. Did you see this one?
I did. First of all, I absolutely adore this cover art. I mean,
It's great.
It's beautiful. I would love to have that poster. I think the movie was way overhyped. I went into it expecting something completely different.
Yeah.
Loved the first half. Second half, I just could not get into it. The first half, I knew it was a low budget movie. I went into it. I was like, this looks pretty decent for a low budget.
Yeah.
Like I'm 100% sold. As soon as the demon possession took place, I was like, reminds me of an episode of Goosebumps. Like, this is not what I was expecting. And I love practical effects. I just feel like it didn't mesh well with what they were going for in the beginning. I was not a big fan, but to be honest with you, I'm probably going to pick this up. I've been picking up most of their editions, and I feel like I would kick myself in the ass later on when this is like $250 on eBay, and I want to be a completionist with Second Sight. But for the most part, I pick up all of their releases as far as horror anyway. But yeah, this cover looks great. The movie, not so much. And I know that's controversial. Everybody says this is like the best movie of the year when it comes to horror, but I couldn't get into it really.
I agree. I feel like the last 15 minutes of this really, really shit the bed. I wish they would have stopped. Even if the possession scene started and then they stopped like in the middle of it and just left it a question mark, that would have been so much better than all of the crazy stuff that happened at the end there. It's a good film. I don't think it's this like best film of the year like a lot of people were saying for the first 5 months of the year. But a movie that has stood up the test of time that I think is much better than this. We are also getting on November 11th a Blu-ray release for the Blair Witch Project from 1999. This is the official like producer sanctioned release of Blair Witch, and this is the one that if you're going to be getting it, this looks like it's the one to get. Now that being said, the Umbrella release includes Blair Witch 2 on Blu-ray for the first time legally anywhere in the world. So I understand you may have already pre-ordered that, or you may choose to get both. Not a bad decision. No one is going to put you down for that. However, this release of the Blair Witch Project, in my opinion, is going to blow the Umbrella release of the first film, at least, out of the water. This is the one to get for this. This is a brand new Second Sight Films restoration from the High 8 videotapes and the 16mm film elements. All approved by the producers and directors. This is going to be 2 discs. It's got the theatrical cut and the festival cut, which for those of you that were in the horror scene back then, a lot of people were watching the festival cut literally on bootleg tapes that were passed around by hand or mailed or whatever. Beyond that, this is not something that people have been able to see outside of bootleg editions. So this is going to be a big deal. You're going to have new audio commentary on this by Alexandra Heller-Nicholas and Josh Nelson, the directors and producers audio commentary, some deleted scenes with previously unseen video footage, which is great. Lots of featurettes, alternate endings, the Cannes 1999 archive director's interview, and then a 184-page hardback book with archival production materials and new essays. A journal is going to be in this, and then 3 collector's art cards. This looks incredible to me, at least. How do you feel about this one?
This is going to be a day one purchase for me. I love the fact, and I'm sure it's not on purpose, but it kind of reminds me of their Witch cover for Second Sight. So it kind of goes hand in hand with the black and white. I love that aesthetic. I love Blair Witch, man. I don't care what anybody says. That's one of the first movies to ever actually legitimately creep me out.
Oh, yeah.
I was very young when it came out, so I thought it was real. Like, I thought it was a fucking snuff film, you know? So for the longest time, that marketing worked with me. I'm definitely picking this up. I already have the Walmart Steelbook they put out last year.
Right.
I don't have the Umbrella edition. I don't need Blair Witch 2. I'm not a fan of that film, to be honest.
And I apologize. I forgot it was Imprint, not Umbrella. Imprint
Okay.
is doing it.
Yeah. Not a fan of the second one, so I'm perfectly fine with getting this edition. But this is a must buy for me, absolutely, day one.
This is a big deal. And like Craig says, if you've never seen this or did not know the story about all this, this was like the one of the major milestones in horror history. This is one of those things where people look back on, and this and Cannibal Holocaust and The Exorcist as one of those things that when it was released, it went off like a nuclear bomb. It was felt all across the world. This is very interesting because it came out when colleges were starting to get access to internet stuff. So there was websites proclaiming that these people were actually missing. This is one of those where a lot of people thought it was real. And this is a huge, huge deal. I love that we're finally getting the proper release of this film. I also have to say, why are we getting people in my comment section saying this should have been a 4K release? I have to throw out there, if you don't understand how transfers work, how 4K UHD works, how the cost of these things work, how it would not improve on the high 8 tapes in any way, and it would literally be essentially a fake upscale, or not even that, it would be a fake attempt at an upscale. Please understand, this does not need to be on 4K UHD. The last thing, I do agree. I think it was Sibner up here said, I wish that they included all the news reports that ran with this story thinking it was real. That is the only thing that I wish was in this. Something covering the cultural impact of the time, other than visual essays. I would have loved to have seen a mashup of 35 minutes of late night news, reporting on what's going on at the theaters and people reporting it and everything. It would have been incredible. The marketing for this film will literally never be able to be matched. This is a masterpiece, absolute masterpiece.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but that would be phenomenal if they included that, dude. I would upgrade just for that, just to see that.
Yep.
I will agree with you though. These found footage films, they do not need 4K. People were saying the same thing about As Above, So Below when Scream Factory was recently put. You don't need that on 4K, man. That's just buy the Blu-ray. It's fine. It's a found footage film.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Kevin, I'm gonna have to go find that link because I want to watch that 45-minute compilation of a bunch of news footage, Entertainment Tonight show interviews. You got me. I'm in on watching that. Next up, October 22nd on 4K from Kino, we are getting Rules of Engagement. We talked about this one earlier this year. This is the 2000 film, and as far as I can tell, this has nothing new on it. It's got all of the archival features, including the commentary with William Friedkin on it. And again, that is the only reason we're getting this, is because Friedkin passed away. So glad we're getting it. It's a decent movie. Glad it's coming out. Kino just kind of quietly killing it. Next one they're doing, Film Noir, The Dark Side of Cinema 25. After we talked about these for a good 10 minutes last week, I won't go all in on this one, but this one's another one of their coming soons. We have no release date yet. This has The Flame from 1947, City That Never Sleeps from 1953, and Hell's Half Acre from 1954. These have fairly new 4K scans and HD scans. Or sorry, they're all 4K scans done by Paramount. And I'm sure we're going to have some extras and all that other fun stuff on these that will make some people happy. Craig says Tommy Lee Jones' skin has never looked that smooth. He came out of the womb with wrinkles. Hilarious. All right, moving to our next one. This last weekend was the Severin Super Shock Pop-Up Film Festival, and they revealed a ton of titles. We're going to go through some of these very quickly, and others of these much slower, and sort of speculate on some things. We don't have any details, so this first title is Rat's Night of Terror. For example, we don't know if this is going to be Blu-ray or 4K. I'm betting it's going to be a 4K because it's had multiple releases. But yeah, this is going to be coming out soon. Once again, we don't know release dates. We don't know if it'll be this year, next year. It could even be the year after that. There's stuff that was revealed in last year's Severin Super Shock Pop-Up Film Festival that still have yet to be released. So these are things that they're working on, and they showed some trailers. They also showed 3 full-length films, and we're going to talk about those for sure. So this is the first one. This is a Bruno Mattei and Claudio Fragasso film. Have you ever seen this one?
I have not, but this is right up my alley. This is definitely going to be a blind buy for me. I love when animals fight back, so any kind of films like this, I'm definitely going to be picking this up.
This is a good one. People are going to be happy with this if you've never.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, this is one I watched a couple years ago as part of a Bruno Mattei thing. Gotcha. This is a very, very interesting film. People are going to love. It's got an incredible ending too, by the way.
Nice.
Next is Poppers. This is a film from 1984, getting a release soon from them. I had a lot of people that looked up the synopsis of this and went, well, this is going to be amazing. And I agree. This is going to be great. Can't wait for people to see this. I've not seen this one yet, but it sounds amazing. Next is the Dracula Saga from 1973. This one I've read is genuinely a masterpiece for some people, and one that a lot of people seem to be very excited for us to be getting at some point. I've never seen it. I don't think I'd ever heard of it before this last Saturday, so eager for this one. However, probably the biggest news out of the entire festival was that they're releasing Russ Meyer's Super Vixens. Now, this is something that people are shocked is happening. People are wondering how Severin could do it. And the biggest thing is this the only one? Now, Severin did not reveal anything more other than they are putting out Super Vixens. The other thing that I could throw in there is there was an audience vote. And of course, with a film like this, they voted to watch this one. And the transfer and restoration work that was done on this one is supposedly incredible. I did watch a little bit of a comparison earlier this year because I've known for a little bit that this one was coming. And I will say the work that was done on this film is going to make some people very, very happy. I don't know anything else. I sure hope that more is coming. However, some of the rumors over the years is that the Myers estate wanted like breathtaking money, like $1 million to license each individual film. If that's the case, Severin cannot afford to do that. So either they found a way to get to this one, or the estate suddenly woke up out of a haze and have agreed to do this at an actual reasonable rate. If they do have more, I have a feeling it will likely not be a box set. I don't think they could afford to do that. I think it will be individual titles, and people will need to buy each and every one. I sure hope they've got more coming, because I know a lot of people are clamoring to improve on that Arrow video box set that came out on DVD. Oh gosh, at this point, was it 12 or 13 years ago, something like that? And to be honest, that DVD set didn't even look that great. So, Russ Meyer, have you seen anything from Russ Meyer?
I have not. I've heard of this. This is something I would definitely pick up. I love like sexploitation or exploitation films. Anything that's exploitation at the end, I'll buy it. I'm excited to check this out though. And I mean, Severin, dude, I mean, people can say what they want about their prices, but their transfers are flawless. I love the work they do. So any chance I get to support Severin, I definitely will. I haven't bought anything from Severin in a couple months. It's been a while. I didn't participate in the last sale, but I have a decent amount of their collection already. I have most of what I want. So
On that note, I know a lot of people that did partake in the sale still have not gotten their boxes yet. If you did not see, they did post an update that said everything should be shipped by September 11th, I believe. So just be patient. I know that is a long time to wait considering the sale was in June. However, they've been incredibly busy looking at, an opera replacement program, and then this film festival thing that they've been working on. Yes, he did Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. Yes.
Oh, I've seen
And
it. I've seen that one. Then I
oh,
do own that one.
nice. Stefano's saying, I remember back in the day, Russ Meyer sold his movies on VHS for $99 each. So that tells you what you've been dealing with behind the scenes. Toby says, I hate Russ's estate. Hope they get bankrupt so they have no choice but to release all of them at a decent price. Oh, man, that's hilarious. Yeah, so this is a big deal. I sincerely hope we're able to talk about every single one of these coming out eventually. Next, they are releasing The Mask of Satan from 1989. What makes this one interesting is quite a few things, actually. One, this has been called Demons 5, The Devil's Veil. Obviously, this is one of those classic Italian in-name only sequels. It's not like this is still going with the Demons mythos from part 1 and 2. Beyond that, the thing that's actually really cool about this is directed by Lamberto Bava, and it's remaking one of his father's films. And that alone is pretty damn cool. I'm excited to see this one. I hope people check this out when it comes out. And knowing Severin, I mean, I'd love to see a Demons 5 slipcover on this. That'd be pretty cool.
You know what's happening, dude. It's 100% happening. This is definitely going to be a purchase for me too. I love the old school demonic films, especially the cheesy ones.
Yeah.
So I'm all in on this one too.
Definitely. Next one is Hell of the Living Dead. This one's got like 6 different alt titles. This is from 1980. A lot of people know this as Virus. This is another Bruno Mattei film. This is one I assume will likely be in 4K because 88 Films already did this in 4K. I don't know why it wouldn't be in 4K. So most likely going to be that one here. Anything else? People are going to complain because 88 Films is out there. So yeah, most likely 4K. Next one is Thesis or Thesis, however you want to say it. This is from 1996. This is the Alejandro Amenabar film. This was just recently announced also by Umbrella, and we had heard that this was coming in the US as well, and here it is, confirmed to be coming from Severin. Great film. Glad that this is getting a stateside release, and most likely going to be a 4K as well, considering the Umbrella is. And they just announced, and we're going to talk about tonight, another film from the same director coming from Umbrella as well. So keep an eye out on this. Is this one you've seen? I feel like this is a very Planet Mondo film.
I have not, but if you're saying that, it makes me definitely want to purchase this and check it out. Yeah, I have not seen this one, but I do own the.
You will be happy.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely check this out. Hopefully, it comes out sometime in the next year. I'm seeing a lot of people praise this movie, so got me curious.
A 4K restoration's already out there, so I hope that they're not waiting too long for this one. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if this was a Black Friday title. That would make sense to me. Next one is The Virgin of Nuremberg from 1963. I know literally nothing about this one. The reviews online seem to make it sound pretty decent compared to a lot of other films that Severin has done over the last 5 years or so. It sounds like a winner, but I've never seen it. Anybody that has seen it, let me know in the comments for sure.
I haven't seen it, but I want that poster.
This poster's great, right?
Yeah, I love that art.
And the title being in the original language there is perfect. Ryan's in the chat, says, love the Mattei 4K run happening right now. What a time to be alive. It is. It's wild. I can't believe we're getting it. But next one is Glass Ceiling from 1971. Now, I read the synopsis on this, and this sounds like it would be a perfect addition for another House of Psychotic Women box set from them. Give us another couple titles, put in a box set, and I gotta be honest, that's the way I love Severin. Their box sets are very competitively priced. I mean, they just announced that Faux Core box set, and it's got 24 films, and it's $180. And that's wild because you could get Opera 4K 3 times, or you can get 24 films. Come on.
Even Santa Sangre, I think that was as low as like $30 during the sale or something like
Yeah.
that, 25 maybe. Like it was very affordable.
Yep.
And
And that that,
that's one of
that was
the
a big deal title.
dude, that's one of my favorite 4K transfers too. I love what they did with the Santa Sangre. But yeah, I mean, I don't own that House of Psychotic Women box set. Is that any good?
It's just like any box set. There are some that are way better than others, but I think the ratio is leaning heavily towards the fairly good at least. So
Okay.
yeah, I think most people would love at least one or two of the films in that first box set.
I was amazed that Elizabeth Taylor is in one of them. I was like, what? I must own this
Yep.
now.
Well, and
And
if you want that film, you can get on its own now. So if you don't want to go on all in on the box set, you can just get that one from them.
yeah, I love the way the box set looks though. I kind of just
Yeah.
want it. I love the
Well,
color
and
scheme on it and everything. It's
the
just
pricing, it's not that much more. It's like
yeah.
another half a cost of a film to get the whole thing. The next one is Terror Creatures from the Grave from 1965. I believe this is meant to be Barbara Steele. I believe that's another Barbara Steele film coming, which would make sense because they've got Barbara Steele throughout their filmography at Severin. And I believe David Gregory has a signed Barbara Steele poster hanging in the office. Next up is the Ark of the Sun God. This one definitely needed a new release. Glad this is coming out. Another legendary poster. This is a pretty rad poster. This is from 1984. Who knows how this is coming out, but I'm going to guess on this one, probably 4K again. Next one. This is how they ended the night. They played Delicatessen. Delicatessen is coming soon. Now, this one, I'm willing to put, at least a month's paycheck down to say that Delicatessen will be coming on 4K because Studio Canal put it out on 4K. It's readily
Right.
available. If they didn't put it on 4K, the amount of hate mail they would get would be overwhelming. So, it'll be 4K. Great film. Have you seen this one?
You know I have, man. This is gonna be a day one purchase for me as soon as it comes out, and it's gotta be a 4K because, like you said,
Yep.
Studio Canal put it out earlier. So I'm glad I waited because I was gonna pick that up. I was just hoping it was gonna get a stateside release. So who better to do it than Severin? But yeah, this is definitely gonna be a pickup for me, 100%.
This is a great movie.
Yeah.
I'm still hoping that Severin ends up with a bunch of stuff that came out around this time, and yeah, we'll see what happens. Severin is kind of killing it lately. All right, coming soon from Kino is the first Hammer film on 4K, 1970s Scars of Dracula. This is the first ever announcement for a Hammer 4K release. Now, when's it coming? Who knows? We don't have a date. It's possible that this isn't even the first Hammer 4K to get released, but it is the first one to get announced. And hopefully, this is one that's on a little bit of a fast track from Kino, considering it would be a pretty big deal to be the first one to release a Hammer 4K. What about this one? Have you seen this one with Christopher Lee?
I believe I have. Yeah. I've watched a bunch of Hammer films. It's not necessarily for me. I do own a decent amount of them, but I don't know if I'm willing to upgrade any of them. I don't know, man. I really wanted to love them. I just couldn't get into it. Maybe I got to watch some better ones, but I bought the one that came out, I think like 3 years ago, maybe. And it was almost like a best of Hammer films. It was like 20 or 30 films.
I know what you're talking about. I think that
Yeah.
was the Mill Creek release.
Yes. Yes. I blind bought that and tried to get it, through a decent amount of it. And sadly, I fell asleep in most of them. So maybe not the best for me, but I do see why people love them. It's just not necessarily for my taste.
Yeah, yeah. I think I would love probably 5 or 6 Hammer titles on 4K. That would probably be enough for me. I gotta admit. Next up, Arrow Video started their sale at Barnes & Noble this last week. We have heard after this was posted that the sale is going to be going on through September 28th, so you got a long time going. And of course, because it's Barnes & Noble, anything that is coming out during the sale period is also 50% off right now. So you can pre-order on their website and get it to you for 50% off already, which also means Amazon is price matching a lot of these. So if you want something like the Friday the 13th, 2009 4K, that is sitting comfortably at $25 on Amazon right now. Sometimes they sell out at Barnes & Noble and they're still in stock on Amazon. highly recommend shopping on Barnes & Noble before Amazon because, again, as we've said many times in the past, without the first company doing the sale, Amazon wouldn't be doing a sale. So make sure that you're keeping those other companies supported. And if you're going to buy it from Barnes & Noble possibly. However, some of their stuff is already sold out. Like supposedly the Mexico trilogy from Robert Rodriguez was hard to buy. I don't know if it's back in stock, but yeah, those first couple days you could not get it. And yeah, this is where we're at.
On a side note, I missed out on the Conan set that Arrow put out, the 4K.
Yeah.
And I went to my local Barnes and Noble during the Criterion sale, and I still managed to pick it up for regular retail price. So if something went out of print before you go and pay $300 for it on eBay, check your Barnes and Nobles. They might have it if it's an Arrow title. So I definitely saved some money by not going on eBay and just checking out Barnes and Noble. So shout out to Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, I think I saw somebody literally this week get the Conan set still in stock at their store.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's still in stock at my store. They had a decent amount of them. They had like 3 or 4 copies.
Ryan says, how else can we get Bezos to space? I don't know, but we should try harder. Next up, season 2 of Reacher. This was an Amazon Prime show. This is getting a 4K and Blu-ray release, and we know nothing else about it because it probably won't have any extras on this. You can pre-order this now, and I've heard this is a good show. I've never watched it. Not really my type of thing, but I'm sure it's fun. Next up, our first giant news that isn't Severin this week. We have a Disney and Touchstone 4K release of M. Night Shyamalan's Signs coming on October 22nd. And the first thing we have to say, obviously, is, my God, what is this artwork?
I'm pretty sure it's AI, to be honest with you. Those faces look AI. That's what I would say.
I mean, I know for a fact that you could have done better than this in like 20 minutes. Why are we doing this? This is an all-timer film, and we're getting this artwork on the cover of it. Either way, I don't want to complain too damn much because it's a 100 gig disc. It is going to be probably a really great 4K release of this film. The other M. Night Shyamalan stuff has been incredible. Unbreakable looked really good. I am, at the moment, I'm fairly confident that this is going to be a solid release. How do you feel about Shyamalan in general, sir?
I started out as a huge Shyamalan fan. I even love The Village. I know that doesn't get a lot of love. I fucking love that movie. Unbreakable, Signs, Sixth Sense. I know he only produced The Devil, but I like that movie. His later stuff, I'm not a big fan. Knock at the Cabin, I do like that one. Bit of a letdown by the end. I hate this cover though, man. I mean, this is such. I've been waiting for so long for this release, and to see this cover, I'm not gonna lie, man. It was very disappointing, but I think I even commented on your page where I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna complain about the cover because I've been waiting so damn long for this to get an upgrade that I'm fine with it. I just put whatever on there. It's gonna sit on my shelf. I won't stare at the cover, but come on, man. We could have done much better. This is pretty atrocious. I would have been fine with just the field being the cover. Honestly, eliminate both Joaquin and Mel Gibson like that. They look terrible on this cover, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Rest of it would have been fine. And I don't like the texture they've added, like the TV static. I don't know what they're called for, but not a big fan of the cover.
I agree. I don't love this cover, but I don't really want to say much because I love this goddamn movie, and for us to get a great release of it, that's super exciting. Supposedly, The Village is coming on 4K soon as well, and I also love it, so I'm very curious to see how that one turns out. But, of course, we can't go too far without mentioning we're also getting, on the same day, The Sixth Sense, and this cover is still not perfect, but it's much, much better than Signs. This movie's amazing. Again, we talked about Hereditary a little bit ago. This is another legendary performance from Toni Collette when she was much younger, just barely getting on the U.S. scene at least. But I love this freaking movie, and I cannot wait to get both of these in.
You know what, though? As bad as the covers are, at least the spine looks nice, and that's what you'll be staring at for the most part.
Yep.
It's fine. I'm not going to complain too much, but come on, man. We could have done better with these cover arts. I mean, look at that. Even the way they cropped his face just looks amateur. You know, this looks like somebody did it on their phone. It's
Right,
just, I
right.
don't know. It's a little embarrassing.
Um, yeah, honestly, I didn't even think about this, but I agree with Sibner. I am surprised these are not getting steelbooks. Disney might milk it later and put out steelbooks at some other point in time, but yeah, I would have thought they would have done something crazy to get the most money out of these as possible. We don't know much about new features, so on that front, I'm assuming that we're not going to have any new features, which kind of sucks because this is a director that for literally the last 27 years has been either heralded as a genius or called one of the worst of all time. And there's so many interesting stories that you could bring to light on that journey, especially when you're talking about films like The Sixth Sense or Signs. Obviously, we don't need to get into like a 4K of the Avatar film, but these, I mean, they deserve a lot of new special features, and it's likely that we will get nothing.
And I'm sure he's more than willing to talk about these films and give interviews because he's been doing a lot of YouTube shows. Like he goes on people's panels and talks. Like he loves talking. He loves talking, and he's passionate about filmmaking. So I think they could have got a lot of great features out of just talking to M Night himself. But
Yeah,
yeah, man. I hope the Village, if it comes out to 4K, I hope they give that some bonus features because where he shot that film is very historic in Pennsylvania. It was shot on a road called the Devil's Road, and there's rumors that the Dupont family owned this mansion, and there were satanic cults that were sacrificing babies, and he was fascinated by all these stories, so he basically shot the village where that is.
right.
Um, yeah, there's a really fun backstory to how that whole movie came about. So I hope they at least do some kind of making a feature or something like that. Just because I'm from Pennsylvania, so I've always been fascinated by the whole quote unquote cult house off of Devil Road. But yeah, man, it's what a time to be alive. We're getting Sixth Sense, Signs, and possibly, eventually, hopefully, um, we'll get it the rest of his films. But we'll see. Not Avatar. You're right. I don't need that.
I mean, some of them, they deserve better than they got already in the first place, anyways. It's still baffling to me that we never got a Blu-ray of The Village at all. Even Lady in the Water had a shit-tastic Blu-ray that came out right after it was released. And I got Sibner saying in the chat, "You want a 4K of Lady in the Water?" That's my least favorite Shyamalan. I think is, well, other than the two that are just god awful.
That was
But
his
yeah,
fourth movie, right? I think that was after The
technically.
Village. Maybe?
Yeah, technically, I think it's like his seventh because he had 2 or 3 films
Right, right.
before The Sixth Sense. But yes,
Yeah.
um, yeah. I mean, I would take a good release of Lady in the Water. I'd still want it because I adore him as a filmmaker, and
I
I
watched that
would.
in the theater, man. I couldn't get into it.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I genuinely love a 4K of The Happening. I truly love that movie.
Oh man.
It's a satire. It is obviously a great movie if you look at it as a satire.
Exactly. If you view it as a satire, it's a phenomenal film. If you go into it expecting a serious film,
Yep,
you're going to be highly disappointed.
exactly. Next up, speaking of being highly disappointed,
Yikes.
what a great segue. The the new reboot or sequel or remake or whatever of The Crow from this year, you can get as an Amazon exclusive 4K steelbook right now. And that art though, I don't know how to feel about this.
I actually really like the art on the actual steelbook itself.
Yeah.
I like the concept of the crows making up the face. All I've heard is terrible reviews so far, so I don't think this is something I'm going to blind buy or even really bother watching. Um, yeah, man. I mean, it's kind of shit the bed, like it's a bomb at the box office. It's making zero money. I think like this past weekend it made less than like 10 million, didn't it? It was like
It
5
it
million, 6
it made
million.
less money this weekend than Coraline did this weekend.
That's that's insane. I can't even believe that blows my mind. I'm speechless right now, to be honest with you.
I think this made $10 million and Coraline made $15 million, which again, amazing for Leica. I'm glad that people went out and watched Coraline in the theaters. I would have loved to have seen Coraline on the big screen again. But yeah, you can get The Crow if you really want to. Next up, the first season of Ted, the TV show, is getting a Blu-ray release on September 10th. I am shocked that, first off, that a show for this exists. I'm even more shocked that it warranted physical media and seems to be doing well. I wonder if this is decent. Never seen it.
Yeah, I've seen the first 2 films. Big fan of the first one. Don't remember much about the second one, but I've never seen the TV show. Probably not something I'm going to check out, to be honest with you. I'm not a big TV guy. I have a hard time getting into TV series. So unless it's Curb Your Enthusiasm or Always Sunny in Philadelphia, you can count me out, man. I'm not watching it. You know.
I fall asleep watching Always Sunny most nights of my life.
Again, I'm from Philadelphia, so it's like, you know,
Right.
I adore everything about Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But Curb Your Enthusiasm is probably my favorite TV show of all time. I never watched a single episode of The Walking Dead. You name it, I haven't seen it. I mean, Stranger Things, I watched the first season, and I was like, meh, I'm all right. TV series don't do it for me.
Brian here in the chat says this show is better than the movies, and not just better, way better than the movies. That's saying a lot.
That's fascinating. I would never expect anyone to say that.
Terry says that Dana Gold is part of the writing staff for Ted. Interesting. I'm amazed. Yeah, I agree with Ronnie. All these TV shows getting announced, none of the shows I want. Yeah, that's about how I feel lately. Next up is another release from Second Run DVD in the UK. October 21st, we are getting Simon Lang's Days and Afternoon in a double feature. This is Days from 2020 and Afternoon from 2015. For those that may have forgotten, Days already had a Blu-ray release in the States from Grasshopper Film, company that we don't hear about all that often. But actually, if you pick up issue number 12 of the Physical Media Advocate, you'll hear about Grasshopper Film. Just a little tease there. This is going to be a 2-disc Blu-ray special edition, and it's got a whole bunch of extra special features in this. We've got a region-free release. It pretty much always is from Second Run, so that's a great thing. We've got teasers, the director in conversation with Tony Raines at the East Asia Film Festival in Ireland, a filmed interview, and then a whole bunch of other extras. This looks pretty great. It says Days is intentionally unsubtitled for those of you picking this up. Just a warning about that film if you've never seen it.
I don't think I've ever even heard of this film.
It's a slow cinema director for the most part, so be prepared for that. This is the same director that did Goodbye Dragon Inn back in 2000 or whatever it was. I'm really fortunate that I could say this month, at the very beginning of this month, I was able to see this director do a Q&A in LA at the Egyptian Theater for his film Goodbye Dragon Inn. And the guy's brilliant. Obviously, he's clearly knowing his way around a camera, and I'm sure that a lot of people are going to be very happy if you pick this up. Just be prepared. Definitely Arthouse cinema. Next up, Universal Pictures putting out Touch from this year on September 24th, sorry. I've heard this movie is amazing. I've not been able to see it. It is based on an Icelandic novel and supposed to be a very emotional film. Everybody I know that's seen this says it is fantastic and near the like top favorites of the list for them this year. It's supposed to be great. When I look down and the chat is only going on and on about two guys nursing each other from the last movie.
Is that in the film?
I don't think they're nursing in the film, but
Yeah.
I think they are at least intimately with each other. M. Night Shyamalan is back on here. We got some news on his release of Trap coming on November 5th. This is going to get a 4K Blu-ray and DVD release. And we're going to get a Dolby Atmos track on this and all kinds of special features, including deleted scenes, some featurettes, and then a whole bunch of subtitles. That's what was listed under special features. Yeah, probably not much on this, actually. There's a Setting the Trap featurette and Suleika Shyamalan as Lady Raven featurette, and then some deleted scenes, and that's it. I went and saw this movie. Have you seen this one yet?
I have not. I was intrigued by it originally, and then I pretty much heard nothing but bad reviews. And one of my co-hosts that I do the show with, Spitball Media, he watched it and he wasn't a big fan. So I'm eventually going to watch it. I'm sure when it comes to either streaming or I'll just blind buy it. But you know, honestly, I'm more interested in his daughter's film, The Watchers. I know that's got terrible reviews too, but
yep,
That seemed a little interesting to me. That's probably something I'm going to pick up fairly soon. Before this, to be honest with you.
I went and saw this. What's the best way to say this? If you like M. Night Shyamalan a lot, you'll probably like this a lot. It is entertaining if you like his stuff. If you're wanting a film that makes complete logical sense, you're gonna hate this fucking movie. just just being completely honest. I really enjoyed it because I went into it expecting stuff that made no sense. I mean, there are decisions in this movie that no one in their right mind would ever make. And if that will bother you, just don't even bother. You don't need to watch it. It's good for those that like it, and if you don't like that sort of thing, you're gonna hate it for sure. Next up, though, Megan Fox in Subservience. This is getting a BDR Blu-ray from Decal on October 8th. I did not even hear about this film, and that's because it's not out yet. This is still coming to theaters. KB even listed the date here, September 13th, and we got a, we got an announcement for this the week of August 25th. This says Megan Fox stars as Alice, a lifelike artificially intelligent android who has the ability to take care of any family and home. Looking for help with the housework, a struggling father purchases Alice after his wife becomes sick. Alice suddenly becomes self-aware and wants everything her new family has to offer, starting with the affection of her owner, and she'll kill to get it, which means it's exactly in line with that movie Afraid that comes out tomorrow. And so, can we have just a stop now on all of the AI films? We don't need this to be the next multiverse trend. We don't need every AI movie out there.
Yeah, I was expecting AI to take over, not in this aspect, but it seems like ever since Megan, no pun intended on her name, this seems like Megan Part 2, like the adult version of Megan. I've watched the trailer for this. We actually discussed it on my show a couple weeks ago. Not a fan at all. There was nothing in that trailer that made me want to watch this. This is not my type of movie. Very Blumhousey, and I'm not a big Blumhouse guy. Seemed just very generic, man. This is definitely not something I'm going to watch.
Let's see. Simner pointing out it's a decal BDR, which means this is going to have encoding from hell. This is going to look awful. Most of the decal BDRs look absolutely garbage. Plan 9 from the Northwest 720p. It should be 1080p, but not good 1080p. And that's not just because it's a BDR. It's because decal is cheap. And what you should know is BDR, in theory, should be as on par with a lot of press Blu-rays if they do it right, but they're cheaping out on all of it. And Brad's here to say any BDR needs to be like $5, and this will not be. This will still come out at the same price as a Blu-ray. This will still be $20 on release day, probably. This is crazy. Yeah, this sounds not good. Not good at all. Kino coming out with Fright from 1971 on October 22nd. This is getting a 4K and Blu-ray release. It will have a standalone Blu-ray if that's your thing and you don't want the 4K. This has new audio commentary with the man Howard S. Berger. Of course, the one thing to point out here is this is yet another example of them putting out a SDR master on 4K. And that's Kino doing that thing. I don't know why they're doing this for all of their 4Ks, but here we are. This is just 4K after 4K with no HDR, and I wish that they weren't going to be doing that.
Is this part of their cult line, or is this just a regular release?
This is just a regular release on 4K, which I'm kind of surprised. I kind of feel like this would have fit well in the cult line. However, they probably would have had to do another special feature or two to put it on there.
Gotcha.
To justify it. Next up from them, Wolfman's Got Nards. This is the Monster Squad documentary. This is coming on October 22nd on Blu-ray. Now, a lot of you are probably going to say, well, this came out with the 4K release. This was disc 3. And yes, it was. However, you'll see on the screen, there is a slew of bonus features here. And these were not in that 4K release. However, if you got the release from Wicked Vision over in Germany, it had most of these, but still not all of them. There's a couple that were missing from that one as well. And so this is going to be, if you're like a Monster Squad diehard fan, you're possibly going to want to get this release as a supplement. This has all kinds of special features to go with the documentary on top of that. And this will likely be a cheap release. It'll probably go up for pre-order at like $16.50 This will probably be $9.99 on sale in like February at this point. So if you really want this one, you should be able to get it pretty soon. Why exactly did they have to leave it out to the first release? Not sure. I don't think they did it nefariously to make money off of this, but it could have been licensing. It could have been, well, I was going to say it could have been fitting it on the disc, but I believe the documentary was the only thing on the disc. So that probably was not it. Not sure. Good question. You a Monster Squad person, or how about some of the recent horror documentaries that we've been getting?
Yeah, I'm a fan of Monster Squad. I actually didn't grow up watching it. I first time watched it probably maybe like 10 years ago or so. I did buy the 4K. Unfortunately, I missed out on the slipcover, which I'm saddened by that. But it's not the end of the world. I'll live. Great looking 4K. I love what Kino's doing, man. Their prices are actually affordable. Their sales are actual sales, which
Yep.
again, shout out to Severin because their last sale, I didn't buy anything because I had most of their stuff, but those prices were phenomenal. I mean, there's Blu-rays for like $7.
Yep.
And that was an actual sale. Like even if I don't participate, I love watching other people grab stuff. And that was very reasonably priced. So, shout out to Severin once again, and shout out to Kino. Kino's sales are always ones that I feel like they're just complete bangers, man. And I always discovered different movies in there. Their catalog is gigantic. I always do blind buys through Kino, so
Oh yeah.
big fan of what they've been doing. And they were smart to get into that slipcover game because they never included them before, but ever since they started doing it, they've been probably moving some decent amount of units.
The other big thing, if you're, kind of like Mondo just referred to, if you're super into the slipcovers and you desperately have to have them, so you want to pre-order, um, I got to shout out Atomic Movie Store. So go to atomicmoviestore.com. I have found they are the cheapest place to pre-order Kinos from. They always have titles up for like $15.99. To the 4Ks are normally 20, I think 22.99 or 23.99 for the cheaper 4Ks, and then like 26.99 for the more expensive ones. Now, a couple things, they ship very quickly, usually same day, if not next morning. But beyond that, $50 gets you free shipping. And if you're already buying titles that are only $16 a piece, 4 titles and get free shipping, and all together you're at like $64. That's an incredible price for pre-ordering 4 Kinos.
Yeah. Do you ever anticipate them to put out a cut and run in 4K? Because I've been waiting to buy the Blu-ray. But I feel like as soon as I purchase the Blu-ray through one of these sales, Kino's going to put it out on 4K. Is that a title that you see them maybe putting out on 4K?
I would love to say yes or no here, but Kino is putting the most random ass
Random, yeah.
titles on 4K, and then other titles choosing not to. That would make them much much more money.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that it would make sense to. I think that it would have done well. They probably should.
I think it would look good too,
Oh yeah, definitely would look good.
Any jungle setting, put it on 4K. I'm all for it.
Yeah, that's true. The colors in there, absolutely. Next up, hey, we just talked about this. This is Mondo's beautiful artwork on the cover of issue number 11 of the Physical Media Advocate. And what's crazy is you can now get this in store internationally. This is available in Canada at Rough Cut Video. You've probably seen the video that I did earlier on this channel with Pascal from Rough Cut Video. You can now walk in there in Calgary, Alberta, up in Canada, and purchase these. And he is incredible. Please go check out his shop if you're ever in that area of Canada. Beyond that, we're looking to get into more places. So if you know your local video store, if you know somewhere that you go to frequent purchasing films or purchasing magazines, send me a message, let me know, or go reach out to them and give them my email address, and I will happily get in contact with them. A couple nights ago, I was up till about 2:00 in the morning, just sending emails, trying to get this into more places. So up to date, if you are curious where all you can pick this up, the Scarecrow video in Seattle. You can get this in CD Trader in Tarzana, California. You can get this in Videotech in LA. You can get this in Videodrome in Atlanta. You still can get back issues on Orbit DVD on their website and in person. You can, of course, get this at this gentleman's store, Chris, at Legends Video Games and Movies in Granby, Massachusetts. I'm probably forgetting one right now. We're working on a couple others right this moment. I've got an inn in Wisconsin, hopefully starting up soon. ZPAM saying I got to get him in Bay Street Video. I got to get Bay Street Video to answer an email. They're one of the first ones I asked. Same thing with Forbidden Planet. I would love to get it in all these places. I've emailed and cannot get a response. Music Millennium, it's another one that I have reached out to and they have not responded. So yeah, if you want it, go in there and ask them for it and tell them that I've emailed them and would love to get a response. Mondo and I would love to see this in more stores so that we can see our art on your shelves, please.
Absolutely, man.
Knowing how
I wish we had some physical media stores around me. If anybody's in the Philadelphia area, if there is one, please let me know, because I'm not aware of any physical media stores around me in existence at all anymore. But if anybody in the chat room is around the area, let me know if you know of a spot, because I'd love to buy them in person, man. I miss going to stores and buying movies. Like,
Same.
it takes me back, man. I need that experience back. I'm tired of Amazon and love Orbit and Diabolic and everything, but I still want to go to the stores and physically pick it up. And there's something to it.
I when I went to out to LA last month and the beginning of this month, going into a couple stores and seeing it on the shelf was mind blowing in a way that I was not ready to experience. I just knowing that your art is all these places and all these stores have posted it. How do you feel about all these being in stores everywhere? How are you feeling about that?
Oh, it's amazing, man. I think my first shock of seeing my art anywhere was in wrestling, because I used to do
Right.
merchandise design for wrestling a lot, and it kind of gave me the same feeling. You know what I mean? Because I was very passionate about wrestling back in the day, and I got to work with a lot of people that I used to play with their action figures when I was a child. So to design some of these covers for films that I absolutely love, like The Exorcist, it is surreal. So I would personally love it if I can get it in a store in Pennsylvania, so I can go there and just be like, there's the magazine on the shelf. But yeah, man, we need more physical media stores, and I'm surprised, because Philadelphia is like an artsy city where I feel like a lot of people love films. We have a lot of art house theaters here still, so I'm just surprised that there's a ton of vinyl stores, but none of them carry any Blu-rays or 4Ks or anything like that. But vinyl popping, tons of stores that carry vinyl.
Tons.
Zero Blu-rays. Nothing.
Toby says, if you're in Indiana, please let me know. I don't have anywhere in Indiana yet. If you know a store that would be good in, let me know. The other thing, I was waiting for Mondo to be on the show this Thursday to share this. I was considering posting it on social media earlier this week. So this last Sunday, I was over at KB's house, and we were talking about the film that we had just watched, and I get a text. And my friend Jeremy Long, who's been on the show many times, is going to CD Trader, who carries the magazine, and he's hanging out in there. And he texted me while we're discussing this film, and says while he was perusing through CD Trader, the one and only Paul Thomas Anderson came into CD Trader and was looking around and picked up the Physical Media Advocate and was looking at it for a little while. So Mondo, you can say Paul Thomas Anderson has definitely seen your art in person.
That's amazing. That's one of my favorite directors. We need more of his stuff in the Criterion Collection and on 4K. I need more of his films. The Master, Boogie Nights. There's just so many that you can name. I need 4Ks of those, and I want them to have that C on the spine, man. I need that to happen. Same with Hodorowski. I don't know what the rights are for Holy Mountain and El Topo. I know Arrow put them out. I actually have it right here. I know they put it out in this beautiful box set, but how is this not on 4K? Holy Mountain on 4K?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
How is this not on 4K? El Topo? Imagine, the visuals on 4K in the Criterion Collection. I would never go soft again. I'd be hard for the next 3 weeks. That's just, Criterion, please make it happen.
And the other thing, we're looking to get some of these in the Gray Face and Terrorvision in Savannah and Chicago, hopefully soon. I was emailing Ryan about that this week, so should be happening soon. But like I said, if you know any other stores near you, send me a message. I will happily reach out to them. Going to our next announcement, finally. Another big deal title coming soon on 4K this fall as a steelbook and standard release from Warner Brothers and Amazon MGM working together. We are getting the original Terminator from 1984. No news on new features or anything. No news on the transfer itself. No news on the AI or any of that crap that everybody's all worried about. However, it is possibly something that we should be getting here soon, and we can figure out. It will supposedly be this year. We don't have a date yet, which makes that a very iffy pre-order if you're going to choose to do that, considering a lot of people hate all the other Cameron 4Ks that have come out. But hopefully this one looks decent. I mean, that's all I can say.
Yeah, man, I'll take what I can get. I know T2 is not the greatest transfer. I hope they redo it. They're probably not going to. My hopes are not very high for this one, but I do love the cover. I saw a lot of people saying that the cover is not very good. I don't think they shit the bed with this, man. I love the cover. Kind of reminds me of one of those Mondo posters,
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, my name has nothing to do with Mondo. A lot of people get that confused. Planet Mondo came because I was covering disturbing movies, and I named it after the Mondo Kane documentaries. That's where it originally came from, not from Mondo Designs as far as the posters. So just to avoid any kind of confusion, I'd have no affiliation with Mondo.
Yes, I like this art on here as well. I got nothing against it. In fact, like the back of the steelbook, that whole figure and shape was used on a lot of the key art for this film. I don't get it. It makes perfect sense to me. Anyways, next up, another big deal. But this art is real bad. Coming soon from Warner Brothers again, Blazing Saddles on 4K, and this just feels like some intern went on an image AI generator, typed in the word Blazing Saddles, got a picture of a saddle on fire. This is bad. This is real bad. I don't even know what else to say about this one.
Yeah, I mean the cover is atrocious. I haven't upgraded since the DVD, so I'll probably pick it up because I don't have the Blu-ray, so I will pick it up. But yeah, the cover is pretty embarrassing. Not the greatest.
Then we have the standard 4K, which is better, but not much better.
I don't know, man. I kind of like the other one better than the standard. The standard is a little bit off-putting. I don't know what they were doing with these covers, man. What's going on in the world? I feel like all these boutique labels, if they can put out all these beautiful cover arts, why can't the studios? I don't know.
I don't know. Both of these are really bad.
Yeah, they are. They're pretty bad.
I know that people are questioning that I said this is better. This is just better because it's not an actual saddle that's on fire. That's it. Like, it's the most obvious AI art when you're looking at the steelbook.
Yeah. It's just like a visual throw up, It just looks like copy and pasted images on a poster. It just, I don't know.
It's especially bad when you zoom in and you see this fucking face on this horse.
Yeah. I think that's the first thing that grabbed my attention was the horse, and I was like, yikes, dude, this is not going to be good.
All right, let's get away from that. One that does look decent. We are getting a 4K and standard steelbook. 4K standard release and steelbook release of North by Northwest. This is for the States finally. I know that we had that deluxe edition announced for the UK, so you can be rest assured that we are getting this in the US. The only thing I will say, I like the cover of this on the front. I do wish they went with that same Hitchcock silhouette that they went with on the other steelbooks on the back of this one so that they could all match. This hopefully will look great. I'm sure this will be a fine release. It's Hitchcock. They've been giving those a lot of love. All the other restorations for those look great. I'm not worried about this one turning out great. Can't wait for this one.
Yeah, I wish I picked up the previous Hitchcock steelbooks. I missed out on all of them. I kind of kicked myself in the ass for that. But yeah, this cover looks great. I love this. I love the movie too. I don't own it on physical at all, so this is probably something I definitely want to pick up.
That's nice when it's not even an upgrade, when it's just
I don't even have it on DVD, so
that's the easiest one to get. Next up, Imprint has been slowly announcing titles all week. I think they're about to announce their fourth one of the week, actually. November 27th are going to be the release dates for all of these Imprint titles. They're all UHDs, and so far, they're pretty impressive releases. This first one is Sam Peckinpah's Convoy from 1978. We're going to be talking about this one again in just a minute, but this one, there's so many special features, I can't even list all of them, or we will be here for far too long. Mike Siegel is involved in all of these. You've got documentaries, you've got interviews, you've got promotions, you've got new 1080 presentation on Blu-ray of the 115-minute extended cut that was recently discovered. There is so much here that this is one of those things that I had to press and more at the bottom of this because there's too many for the Instagram character count, which is ridiculous. Go check these out on the Imprint site. I will say, when these go up for pre-order, these will likely be expensive. We're probably talking $70 to $80 releases. That is a lot. However, most of these are the first time on 4K. They're going to be hard box releases. This one's going to be 3 discs. It's a lot of work. They did restorations themselves on some of them. This looks like a very, very great release of a Sam Peckinpah film. So that's a good thing.
I'm amazed that Imprint can put out Convoy with this much special features and Disney can't do anything for signs. Unbelievable.
Well said. Completely agree. Yeah, this is a big deal. Next up, TerraVision, who is in the chat right now. What's going on? They are re-releasing Killing Spree. This was previously released when they were under OCN, and now this is getting what they're calling a budget video edition. So if you happen to buy the Walmart version of Malum that they released, it had like a flimsier slipcover. It is going to be that exact same kind of slipcover, but it's cheap. You can pick this up, and it's only $17.99. So if you don't have Killing Spree or your version doesn't have a slipcover, this might be one that you were interested in. I really like this movie. I think most people will like it if you give it a chance. This is not shot on video like a lot of people think. It was shot on film. This is only limited to 1,000. So if you want this, jump on it soon. You should be able to get this fairly soon. And they did say in the chat or under one of the posts that this might be something that they're continuing to do for some stuff that needs re-releasing. If they can put out like a cheaper slipcover for some people, then you could check that out. So this could be something that's going to be a bit of a pattern coming up soon. And this isn't the last time we're going to talk about TerraVision tonight. We got a really great title coming from them soon that we get to discuss in a bit. Killing Spree. Have you seen Killing Spree? I don't know if this feels like a Mondo title or not.
I actually do own it. I haven't seen it yet, though. Speaking of Malum, though, I need to buy that movie. I completely forgot that they put that out. I do need to purchase that as soon as possible because that was one of the movies that I definitely wanted to check out. I love the trailer. And again, I love films about cults. So anything that has to do with cults, I will buy. So yep. Malum, I'm definitely picking that up sometime this week, hopefully.
Malum is good. People should need to check out Malum.
I haven't seen it in stores, though. I have looked for it probably almost a year now. I haven't found it anywhere. But
are you talking about the Walmart release?
Yeah.
So if I remember right, and I know that you're in the chat, so tell me if I'm wrong there. I believe that was only a 90-day deal. So if you want to pick that up now, you can get it on Amazon, which is they're overstocked from that portion. Walmart threw it up on Amazon to be able to purchase, but it was only going to be on the shelves for like 90 or 120 days.
Does it have a slipcover, the Amazon ones?
It's the exact same release, and they all had one, but they are the flimsy version. So if you want the other version of the slipcover, it was only 6 weeks. That's even less. Jesus.
So if I want the thicker stock, I would have to get it directly from TerraVision?
That, and if you want 4K, the Walmart version is only Blu-ray.
Yeah, no, I'll just get the 4K then. Yeah, I want the thicker stock. That cover, I love that cover, by the way. The Malum cover, I love that cover.
It's pretty rad. No, Kev, Killing Spree was not shot on video. It was, I think it was 16 millimeter with a bunch of grease on the lens. Next up is the next Imprint title, which is A Bridge Too Far from 1977. Like I said, this is a UHD coming on November 27th. This is a brand new 4K Dolby Vision restoration loaded with a bunch of new special features, strictly limited in a 3-disc hard box with a booklet in here. Once again, tons of extra features, bunch of new interviews with camera operators. You've got a new interview with Elliot Gold. And again, so many new extras that I couldn't even fit them on here. But if you never checked it out or heard of this film, this has like one of the best cast of all time. Just take a look at some of the names on here, and you will probably want to pick this up. This is crazy. Great looking release. 16 millimeter. Thanks, TerrorVision.
How in the world have I never heard of this movie with this cast?
Right?
What?
It's everybody is in this movie. Everybody.
Jeez. I feel ashamed now. I gotta apologize. I've never heard of this movie. What in the world?
Moving right along, we got some new Umbrella announcements. First off, these are all coming out on December 4th, so be prepared for that. We are getting Pulse from 2001 on 4K. This is going to have their classic, big box release. You're going to be able to get that limited edition numbered release with the hard box, 150 plus page hardback book in this. You have new audio commentary with Alexander Heller Nicholas, Going into the Abyss with Kiyoshi Kurosawa's Pulse, an audio essay by Anton Batel, and then some writing in that booklet. And this looks like a solid release. I'm willing to bet that Arrow is likely going to re-release this on 4K eventually. For those that did not know, one thing to keep in mind while we're going through these, Umbrella launched a last-minute flash sale on their website to get 15% off on everything on their website, including pre-orders. And that's going through August 31st. And if you happen to get a pre-order in the last couple days, they will cancel that and let you get a discount on it instead. So don't be shy. They are advertising that if you want to save some money. If you've never checked out Umbrella, this is a really easy time to do it. Knowing how they are with pre-orders, it's rare that those get discounted. So you may want to jump on it and take advantage now. And considering what is on the website, it's not just the December releases. It's stuff coming in November and October and September that have not been released yet. You could easily throw something together and get free shipping on release. I believe free shipping through Umbrella's either 150 USD or 200 USD, something like that. And I know that's a lot of money still, but one of those things where you're getting a discount, it might be one of those times to drop some money down on it if you want these titles.
And this is the original, right? This is
like the original, 2001.
Okay. Gotcha. I was going to say the American remake. I remember watching that at the theater and I hated it. I was hoping this wasn't.
Nope, not the remake. Then we got Open Your Eyes, or Abre los Ojos. This is from 1997. This is that Amenabar title that I was talking about earlier. This is the same guy that did Thesis. This is also coming in December from Umbrella, and we're going to have a 48-page book with this one, with the art cards and the posters and all that fun stuff. New audio commentary with the director on this. You've got a new visual essay by Andy Marshall Roberts, and then another one by Anton Batel on this one as well. Looks like a really solid release. I'm digging the art on this. I got to admit, though, I kind of wish they kept the original language title. I've never heard this be called Open Your Eyes. I've only ever known this being called Abre los Ojos. So, I wish they had that in the art. Just me, though.
Is this something I would enjoy?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Gotcha. I figured.
Absolutely is. I feel like you would love this director overall.
Okay. I'm going to have to check this out then. And Thesis, right? You said it's the same director?
Yep, okay. Same director. Next one is this year's Sasquatch Sunset. This is another one of those super divisive films. People either love this or hate it. I don't know what field I'm in because I've not seen this yet. But if you want, you can order this now. They've got a 48-page book coming with this, a Sasquatch fur rigid case to hold everything. It's got a slipcase, 8 art cards, A3 reversible poster, numbered release, all kinds of bonus features on this. Crazy looking set. If you are loving this movie, this is probably going to be the best release that this has ever. I still don't know how to feel about this.
Well, I mentioned how Ari Aster splits the room and how, the crowd is usually very divisive about him. I'm pretty sure he produced this movie, right?
Something like that, I think. Yeah.
I think he did, yeah. So that would make sense. Absolutely love the packaging. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick this up. I'm probably going to try to watch it first. I have a feeling I'm going to enjoy this, though. This seems like my type of movie.
How do you feel thinking that your shelf has a fur-covered slip box on it?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if I want that on my shelf. I feel like it would drive me nuts, man. I have OCD with how my shelves look, so I feel like this would throw me off.
I
Because
feel like I
even
would get it in and feel itchy.
don't get me wrong, I love Vinegar Syndrome, love all their packaging. The one I don't like is the Frankenstein one. Just because the spine doesn't say anything, it
Right.
throws me off. And I feel like I would have the same experience with this. It would just kind of throw me off. So I actually turned around the Frankenstein one, so so the spine is covered, so I can see the two titles as far as the individual slipcases.
It's pretty hilarious. All right. So that's Sasquatch Sunset. Next one is a killer film. We are getting Boiling Point on Blu-ray. This is the 1993 Wesley Snipes Dennis Hopper film. This one's going to have a 48-page book on this. You've got the outer rigid slipcase and the numbered release and all that stuff that they always do. You got a new audio commentary by the writer L. Scott Jose and writer and historian Andrew Nett or Nettie. I don't ever remember how to say his last name. He's on this. We've got a new visual essay by Sean Hogan, story behind Boiling Point, archival feature, and then a trailer reel and a new photo gallery. Lots coming in this. Again, really great movie. That being said, this will likely get a US release soon. I feel like, especially after everything that's happened this summer for Wesley Snipes, he is about to be super reassessed by many people. And the rumor is that they may be working on a new Blade movie with him rather than Mahershala Ali. So if that's the case, be prepared for the studio cash in on all of his titles.
Hey man, give me Demolition Man. I want that on 4K.
Give me a 4K Demolition Man with a big box release, and I will be buying that
Yeah.
immediately.
I don't know if this is a title I would want a big box of. I would rather wait for a US release and just get a regular release. This isn't
Yep.
necessarily something I want to dedicate that much shelf space to. I do enjoy the movie though. I'll definitely pick it up if we get a statewide release. But dude, Demolition Man, please give me that in the next year on 4K. I need
One of
that.
my favorites. Yes.
Yeah.
I would love to see this as a Kino 4K. Agreed, Sibner. The umbrella 15% automatically applies on the cart. That's nice. Super nice. All right. Moving right along. Hopefully, we can get this done before the Vinegar Syndrome sale goes live, too. December 4th, we are getting The Last Stop in Yuma County from Umbrella. Now, this one, I love that they're using the yellow poster art for this on the outer box. I really want this one. I had the director on my channel. This is an incredible film. Genuinely still my favorite film of this year. Love that we are getting a lot of extras on this. I will warn everybody, if you're into this, the rumor, or not rumor, it's confirmed. Arrow Video is releasing this in the UK, so eventually there will be an Umbrella, a US Well Go USA Blu-ray, and an Arrow Video release in the UK. Not sure how that one might be different, but it will be available in all three places. So if you want one or the other, or from a certain place, you might want to consider that before purchasing. But again, great film. This is an excellent story that goes places that people are not prepared for. Easily my favorite film of the year.
I love that slip box.
Yeah,
I'm not familiar with this movie. Do you think this is something I would like?
I think so. It's a little more straightforward than stuff
Yeah.
you go for, but it's exceptionally well written. It is essentially a handful of people are stranded in a gas station slash diner in the middle of nowhere, waiting on a fuel truck, and tensions start to boil over, and it leads to a really negative situation. And just the way that they develop the characters, it is a masterpiece of cinema.
It sounds good to me, man. I would definitely check this out.
Yep. We got a question from Chris. So the new VS releases are September 1st, and then today's just the start of another sale. Yes, new VS and OCN titles will be revealed on Sunday. Tonight, they will be revealing some out of print and some other stuff that'll be on sale. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes because we got a post on that coming up too. A couple more from Umbrella. This first one is The Speedway Murders. This is a 2023 Aussie film. And I'm not going to read through the whole synopsis right now, but if you get a chance, read this. This one sounds really great. I've not heard of this before Umbrella announced it, not seen this, of course. This is one I'm super interested in checking out. I feel like it's a fairly easy film to be interested in. I think most people like it. TerraVision says Last Stop is amazing. Good piece of Western neo noir. Absolutely is. I'm glad you agree. Last title from Umbrella is Bird Eater. This is also coming on Blu-ray. This one is getting one of their like focus on Aussie filmmaker releases as well. This is going to have a handful of extras like an audio commentary with the directors and some featurettes, some outtakes, stuff like that. Looks decent. Gizmo says, "Talk fast and it will sound like a rap for a stupid Norwegian." Oh, glad you're here, Gizmo. Silent Mandible says, "Really liked Yuma, one of the best from this year. Also need to see Sasquatch. I'm a big cryptid guy. Yeah, I need to see it too." Terrorvision says, "Rumor is Arrow will be UHD for Last Stop." I talked to the director and he said Umbrella was supposed to be UHD. So I want to know what happened there. I was really hoping when Umbrella announced it that it was going to be 4K. So we'll see. Not sure. Terrorvision says Bird Eater is dope. Nice. I need to see that one. The art looks good on that one too. Shout Factory for the last couple weeks has been like quietly not even announcing, but listing titles on some other retail sites. And some of these would do pretty well, like this one. I don't understand how there was no official announcement for this, but they're putting out Robin Williams' Man of the Year. This is coming on Blu-ray on September 17th. It looks like there's no bonus features. It's not part of Shout Select line. It's just a Shout Studios title. It looks like they're just licensing stuff just to put it out on Blu-ray. I don't know. I like this movie. I wish it got a better release.
Yeah, I'm surprised this didn't get a collector's edition. They just put out Death to Smoochie, so they're doing some more
Yep.
Robin Williams stuff. So hopefully they'll do some more. I mean, I want a better release of 1 Hour Photo. Like
Yes.
like it's got the worst release ever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, dude. How does that not have a special edition?
Could do well.
Yeah.
Next from Shout is Model House. This is a Scout Taylor Compton film. This says 5 models shooting a swimwear campaign have been put up by their client in a secluded house for the weekend. Over the course of the first night, they post their every move, including their location, to their social media followers. Before they know it, 2 strangers intrude upon their freewheeling weekend. They're held at gunpoint, and the women are forced to post a fake donation link to their social media pages until they make a desperate stand and fight back against their captors. That's such an obvious storyline to not do. I don't know. Never heard of this movie before this was posted. Curious to see what people think.
Yeah, probably gonna be a pass for me on that one.
Same. Next is Perrier's Bounty or Perrier's Bounty. I'm not sure how it's pronounced for this one because I'd never heard of this or seen this. But it's got a hell of a cast. Brendan Gleeson, Jodie Whittaker, Cillian Murphy. This one sounds decent. Coming on Blue September 24th. Yeah, I have no knowledge of this one. Is this one you've seen or heard of?
Sorry, I was on mute. No, I've never heard of this.
So odd,
Really?
especially with that cast.
Yeah. I'm not surprised that I've never heard of it, though. This doesn't seem like it's necessarily up my alley.
Yeah.
But I'm happy anytime anything gets a physical release, even though I'm not a fan.
Oh,
Put it
same.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, put it out.
Brendan Gleeson looks like the guy from Heat here. Kind of. Yeah. Kind of.
Does that irritate you when people get mad that we're getting re-releases? I'm just happy that we're getting more options. Like, put it out. I'm fine with it. Give me as many options as possible. I don't care. As long as we're getting physical releases still, I'm happy with that. Make your money so you can make more. I'm good with it.
The biggest thing for me is the people that follow the disconnected post and then complain when, oh, this just got announced in Australia 4 months ago. Why are we getting another one? Because this isn't for you. That was for Australians. This is one of those that everybody deserves to get a crack at some of these titles, and most people are not importing films all over the world.
Right. Not everyone is on Orbit and Diabolic. You know what I mean? More people should be. Hopefully, we get more people
Right.
on there. But realistically, just because something got a UK or Australian release doesn't mean that if it gets a US release, we should complain about it. Put out
Well,
more
and
stuff on physical. I'm for it.
the frustrating part is they think because this is getting released in 3 different territories that it's taking the place of their favorite film that's not getting released. That's just not the case. The hard part is not every film is able to be released, and so they're putting out the films that they're able to get licenses to, and it just so happened the license was available in 3 countries at the same time, so they all jumped on it. Of course they did. Makes sense. I think this is the last one from Shout. This is September 24th. Also, this is Formosa Betrayed. First off, what is that title? No idea.
I've never heard of this.
James Vanderbeek and John Hurd in this one.
Is this a horror movie?
I think so, and I didn't even check. No, it does say Shout on the spine there. It says when a Taiwanese American professor is murdered, FBI agent Jake Kelly, played by James Vanderbeek, races to track the killers back to Taiwan. Kelly soon finds himself immersed in a dangerous conspiracy as he dodges forces ranging from the U.S. State Department to the Chinese mafia. A gripping thriller inspired by real-world events, Formosa Betrayed delivers an incredible story that must be heard. So it's a crime thriller, not really a horror, it sounds like.
Yeah, again, another title that I don't think I'll be checking out. Not a fan of that cover either. It's very distracting. It's too busy. It's just
absolutely, yeah. Been betrayed many times by only thing that makes me mad is how incredible bad 4 of the James Cameron films looks on. Oh, come on. We've heard enough of the bad AI for James Cameron. We don't need to argue about it again.
I still yet to pick any of them up. I'm waiting for the Alien franchise to all just get a 4K so I can just get a box set. You know, I'm just waiting on that. I do want to pick up The Abyss eventually. Hopefully it still has a slip. If not, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. But
the hard part, who knows if the Aliens franchise will ever come all in one because the licensing being in a few places.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. I will yada yada your joke all day long, Sibner. Las Vegas, the complete series, coming on Blu-ray on October 8th. You've got a handful of episodes getting some special features on this. I had never seen this, but James Caan leading a show has got to be a big deal. I've heard that this is decent, just never got into it. Ran for, I believe, 5 or 6 seasons. Yeah, I'm just amazed that TV shows that are not huge necessarily, like major fan getting shows are getting full series releases. I'm glad that stuff like this is still coming out. I hope Universal keeps doing it.
You know what I was happy about? You posted a couple weeks ago that Captain Planet is coming to the DVD.
Yeah,
I'm buying that day one, dude. Give me more of that and less of Las Vegas, the complete series. Give me more cartoons, please.
Both complete series, and that had never happened before. That was a huge deal.
And we're getting the Toxic Crusaders. Like, there's a lot of cool cartoons coming out.
There is. I mean, can't really complain about it. The Super Friends complete series and all that. November 5th on Blu-ray from AMC, the new Orphan Black called Echoes. Orphan Black Echoes Season 1 is getting a Blu-ray release. Probably no special features on this. Unfortunately, I've heard this is a pretty big step down from the original Orphan Black. Have not watched any of this one, but it's there on physical if you want it. This is probably the worst cover art of the night, though. I know that a lot of people were excited about Signs. This is extra, extra bad. November 11th on 4K in the UK, Kaleidoscope is releasing Austin Powers International Man of Mystery. What is this art?
It's definitely not great, but I will take this over Signs, man. At least this is a simple silhouette for the most part, and you can tell somebody at least illustrated this.
Nose.
Yeah, and yeah. Yeah. I just want a box set of the Austin Power films. I never upgraded from the DVDs. I'm still patiently waiting. There's a couple comedies, man. I've just been waiting for the longest time. Like, what was it? Stealing Harvard, Freddy Got Fingered. Pretty much all the Tom Green films. I want all those. Even if it's not on 4K, just give me a decent release of it on Blu-ray. Because I think Stealing Harvard is still on DVD only.
I just went through today because I was looking to maybe surprise my wife with some tickets to a comedy club and found out that Tom Green is performing in January for one night only. And I'm like, I might have to do that.
Oh, dude, I would love to do that, man. I have a soft spot for Tom Green and Andy Dick. I grew up on the golden age of shitty shows on MTV, like the Andy Dick Show and so forth. Snoop Dogg had a show, I think, at the same time. Yeah, man, I'm a sucker for that era. So anything Tom Green related, I'll definitely check out.
If you have never seen him on the show, and if you have, I'm sorry for saying it like this, but my buddy Jeremy Long, who's been on the channel many times, I don't know if
Yeah.
you know this, he dated Andy Dick's daughter, and
Oh, that's crazy.
directed and wrote a short with Andy Dick starring in it.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm jealous, Jeremy. Yeah, I've seen him on your show plenty of times, man.
For anybody that was wondering, this Austin Powers release in the UK will be the extended international cut. It is not going to be the US cut that was shorter than everywhere else. So if you want to get this, this is probably going to be better than anything we're going to get in the US. And to be honest, I would honestly not expect this on 4K from Warner Brothers in the States. This has not been hinted at from them at all. This has not been on any of their polls that they've done. This has not been on any of their taking interest sheets that they've done for any of their subscribers or anything. But yeah, this looks like if you love this movie, you might want this 4K release. And yes, Ronnie, Jeremy Long dated Andy Dick's daughter and directed him in a short film.
That's a hell of an experience, man.
Sure is.
Can't imagine.
November 19th, we are getting a Blu-ray and DVD from Criterion as part of that Janus Contemporaries line of Ryuichi Sakamoto Opus from 2023. This is supposedly amazing. There's a new interview with the director Neo Sora and the cinematographer Bill Kirstein on this. I've heard this is great. I've not been able to see this, but I like a lot of these. And yeah, this looks pretty decent. TerraVision says Stealing Harvard's been on Blu-ray for a long time, but it's a very old Blu-ray.
What? Dude, I've been missing it. I gotta track this down then ASAP. Because I'm holding on to my DVD thinking it didn't have a Blu-ray, but I'm gonna have to track that down.
It's probably out there readily available. Ronnie says, does that mean Jeremy can get me in with Mara Tierney? I mean, maybe. I'll reach out. Next up, Convoy. Like I mentioned, we would be talking about that again. October 28th, Studio Canal is releasing a Convoy 4K Steelbook in the UK. I kind of like this art quite a bit, actually. I like the way that they designed the Steelbook. This will, unfortunately, not have anywhere near the number of extras in that imprint release. And that's what you get with Studio Canal sometimes.
Not a fan of the border around the steelbooks.
I get
the only
that.
one that I liked was the ET one, the Target exclusive with the orange. That was
UK
okay.
does that a lot for some reason.
Yeah.
Let's see what is next. The Vinegar Syndrome sale. So this is going live in literally 37 minutes. They are launching what they're calling the Totally Rad Labor Day sale, and this will end on Monday, September 2nd at midnight Eastern. A variety of products will be discounted during this event, including releases and merchandise ranging from 10 to 75% off the MSRP. There will be special discounted sections of the site for you to browse. In addition to those, they will be launching a new batch of out-of-print titles each day. The first one will go up tonight at midnight, and then the next one will actually go up on Saturday at noon. Then there will be another one on Sunday at noon, and then one on Monday at noon. And those will be extremely limited. So if you're looking to get some titles that have been out of print for quite some time, you might want to be there literally the moment it goes live tonight, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Basically confirmed is that they will have copies of their release of Rad. And if it's any indication how they will sell previously, the last time Rad was on sale after a sale, it sold out in less than an hour, and they had like 1,000 titles or 1,000 copies. I bet this goes out of print again in like 45 seconds. So if you really want this, be prepared tonight. It's going to be a big deal. The other thing that has been making some waves for a lot of people, if you spend $500 or more only during this sale, you will automatically get access to a new limited VSMC, which is their Rewards Club product, which means you will get access to be able to purchase something because you spent so much. And then you will be able to redeem that with a coupon code that you'll get emailed to you. But then, if you spend $750 during this sale only, you will automatically receive access to a new, even more limited product that you will be able to get with the coupon code. Now, they have confirmed these are posters. So for those of you that did not know, their website says that they are posters. They are extremely limited, supposedly. But the hard part is, I think this is really awful of them to be doing that. The fact that you are openly saying that you want people to spend a certain dollar amount to get access to an item for them to purchase or redeem their points for, which is essentially purchasing, feels really low for me. I try to be pretty positive about a lot of these things, but that is beyond predatory. That being said, if you are somebody that is rabid about Vinegar Syndrome or you're going to subscribe next year, beat the system, brother. Go in there and get $750 worth of gift cards. If you're going to be spending it anyways in a few months, go into the sale and buy gift cards and you get access. And now you can have everything. You're going to spend that money anyways. You may as well just go and get it in a way that's not going to be predatory for you. Don't feel compelled to go in there and spend beyond your means. By all means, I really want people to understand that these sales are one of the worst things to get people in trouble with money or spending, on credit cards or borrowing money from people to get this in. There are a lot of people that will go on Facebook groups and Reddit and post their they'll say like, this is my modest haul from the sale, and it's literally like 45 titles, and you have to question, how the fuck is somebody out there spending like 3 months worth of salary that I get paid on a Vinegar Syndrome sale and getting in one box enough movies to last you months and months and months? It's crazy. There are too many sales happening. This one just feels gross. I'm not going to be super negative about it. The out of print stuff, cool that you get access to it, but also the predatory stuff is completely wrong. I have no way to defend that.
Yeah, I'm sure you saw my face scrunch up once I heard that you have to spend $500 and $750 just to gain access to purchase something else.
Yeah.
That does not sit well with me, man. I love Vinegar Syndrome. I've bought probably, I don't know, 120, 150 releases of theirs. Like, I have a shit ton. I haven't bought anything recently. I think my last one was Existence. I have to be more selective, man, because I was just, I was honestly spending too much money on releases that I was just blind buying, and I'm like, I'm never gonna watch this again. Like, it's cool that it has a slip cover, but at some point, I have to be a little bit more conservative with what I spend on when it comes to physical media. So I haven't bought anything recently, but for the most part, I own everything that I want from their catalog. I was lucky enough last time. I think last time they did these out of print deals, they had the shit. What was it? What was that box set that they had?
Amityville was one.
Yes, I grabbed that, and that sold out like immediately. But yeah, I mean, the only thing I really want is Demon Wind and maybe the Jack Frost lenticular. Oddly enough, both are the lenticular covers. Raw Force would be a cool slipcover. I do want that. What else is out there that I want? I don't know, but I'm definitely not spending $750 tonight. I can tell you that.
Well, again, it's not even just spending $750. It's spending $750 to earn the right to spend more. That is the worst part of this to me. Right. Like, sure, like, incentivize, hey, if you're crazy and you spend this much, you'll get extra points. That's cool. But to earn access to come kiss my toes faster, it just feels so gross. Like, I don't even Ride for the New World Pictures podcast is Daddy needs a new poster, kids. I just talked to my kids in colleges on them. Yeah, this is bad.
That sucks because I do love their posters too. I have a couple of them. There's one in the back over there, the Sex World one. But yeah, I'm not spending $750 just to gain access to buy a poster from you. That's a smack in the face, man. I mean, people have spent thousands and thousands with this company, a lot of day one people. I mean, yeah, I'm definitely not, man. I mean, there was times I think the biggest I've dropped is probably like $800 on a Vinegar Syndrome sale. And that was when I was brand new to it. So I was just catching up. But nowadays, dude, I'm spending like $150 on a sale. I'm not going in spending $500, $600 anymore. I've caught up for the most part of the essentials of what I want. So everything else can wait, man.
The worst part to me, other than the predatory stuff, which is clearly the worst, none of their stuff over the last couple of years is incentivizing to subscribers. If you already subscribe to them, you're not going into one of these sales and going, "Ooh, yeah, I get to go pick up all these things that I already own." What is the reason to become a subscriber? Their stuff hasn't been selling out lately, so there's not. You can probably get it for the same price as you will on a sub. You're not going to be a part of any of these incentivized shopping sprees that everybody's doing. It's so odd. Like everything about their promotions lately is completely bass backwards for me. I don't get it. Don't get it.
DC has a good question too. Do you think the out of print titles are going to be the original price, or you think they're going to be triple the amount? Because I
Uh,
wouldn't be surprised if the prices are a little iffy, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I, I don't even remember the the hard part. Rad came out before inflation hit this industry really hard. The
Right.
Rad 4K came out at like $29 or $32, something like that. If Rad 4K was releasing tomorrow, it would have been a $55 title probably. So are they going to put it out at 65 and say, well, at least it's not like eBay and you're not spending 200. Good luck. Um, the hard part is no matter what it's listed at, it's going to sell immediately.
Yeah, it sucks too because with everything rising in price, I mean, steel books were typically what, $20 to $25 like a year or two ago. Now everything
Yep.
is at least $35. So yeah, I mean, you do have to cut your budget down to pretty much half because you're spending just as much. You're just getting half the amount now. So, I've been a lot more selective with what I've been picking up. Beforehand, I was pretty much picking up anything that interested me, and now I'm just like, dude, I cannot be spending like 500-600 bucks on movies that I'm just gonna watch one time and never touch again. So
Right. I don't get it. I mean, right now they are doing this whole we're moving warehouses thing, but it's real easy to say that. We've all made fun of Shout for claiming, "Hey, we found a box of these in the warehouse." How many are they going to have tonight? Because if you don't find 500 copies of Rad, that wasn't just sitting on some shelf. If these are things that you found, these have to be extremely limited. Otherwise, I'm not going to believe that they were just found.
especially years later, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like if this was put out 2 years ago, I could be like, oh, okay, they went through their warehouse and they found an extra, I don't know, 80 copies or whatever the case is. But
Right.
it's been a couple years since Rad came out. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Tammy and the T-Rex, the lenticular, comes back out with the 4K. So yeah, I don't know. And also, you look at Second Sight, man. How is Second Sight able to put out these beautiful 4Ks where I think the packaging is just as good as any other company, if not better?
Better. Yeah.
And they're imported, and you can buy them through Diabolic and Orbit for like 40 to 50 bucks. Like if I'm paying that much for that, it is kind of rough to pay for a regular release. I don't know. And the Second Sights come with these gorgeous booklets, and it's hard to justify the prices sometimes, to be honest with you.
Right. Yeah. Forgot about that part. They did say the condition is not guaranteed. So Sibner says could be a crushed box stuffed somewhere in the back. Sure, but again, if we hear from even like if 30 people on this stream are able to purchase a copy of Rad, and we see in Facebook groups that more and more people did, there's no way that was just a box. There's no box of 350 copies that was just stumbled upon. That's not how that works. It's impossible. All right. That's enough griping about this. We'll talk about Vinegar Syndrome more in 25 minutes when it goes live. We're going to rush through everything else. It's going to be a late night. Sorry, Mondo.
All good, man. I have a 4-day weekend, so I'm good.
Me too. Nice.
Yeah, I had some PTO time tomorrow, so I was like, let me just take off and make it a 4-day weekend. So I'm all good, man.
Uh, man, I tried to keep a straight face. I just got a text that made me laugh quite a bit. Never mind. I'm not going to repeat that. It was about the rant I just made. October 22nd, Kino is releasing The Court Martial of Billy Mitchell. That is coming on Blu-ray with a new audio commentary with Steve Mitchell and Stephen J. Rubin. He is an author of combat films, American Realism, and this one is with Gary Cooper, directed by Otto Preminger. I'm sure many people will be very happy with this one. Let's see. Sibner says, what's shittier, trying to pass off 500 copies as found or basing a sale on 2 copies they found? I mean, honestly, trying to pass off 500 copies is shittier to me.
I agree.
Theming a sale doesn't mean anything. If they're moving warehouses and they actually genuinely needed to get rid of stuff, that's no big deal.
Yeah, I'm okay if they found 50 copies and they're being transparent, like, hey, we literally found these and this is all we have, versus pretending to find a box of 500-600 copies and passing that off as a sale.
Well, and
Transparency, man. I respect it. Be honest with me. Let me know what it is.
exactly.
Yeah, just be honest.
From what I know, the boxes of titles are usually around 80-ish in the box. So if there's more than 160, I'm not really going to believe it. I got to be honest. Next up, Maxine. We got some details on this release finally. We are getting a 4K and Blu-ray release of Maxine on October 8th, coming from A24 and Lionsgate. This is going to have The Belly of the Beast as a special feature. Triple X marks the spot. Hollywood is a killer. Q&A with the writer and director Ty West, a trailer, and then a teaser. Obviously, there's a lot of speculation right now. Will A24 release a 4K triple feature of all of the Ty West films? I mean, as much as all of us want to go out there and speak it into existence, it's not based on that. I sure hope they do. And the fact that we have a 4K release of the first two out of Germany, there's kind of no reason not to. They're losing to themselves if they don't do it. So please just release the trilogy. We're all dying for it. Put it in that A24 tall box. I won't complain about this one because it deserves a special set for all three. Even though I didn't love Maxine, I think it'll be beautiful. Yeah, can't wait. I hope this gets a good presentation at some point.
Yeah, I do hope we get a box set eventually. Also, on a side note, I know Nicole Kidman recently said she wants to work with Ty West, so I'm hoping that comes to. Yeah, she said
Did
she
not
wants
hear
to,
that. That's awesome.
Yeah, she wants to specifically work with Ty West in a horror movie. So I'm excited for that. I hope that happens. But
Very interesting.
yeah, she looks great too. She's like 56 now. She looks
Yeah.
phenomenal. Yeah, hell
Well,
yeah.
and he's worked with a hell of a great list of actors over the years.
Yeah, man.
Great list of actors. Let's see. Stan loved Maxine. Lots of people loved Maxine. Some people says the last act is trash. I agree. Yeah, if it's not good, that's very sad because I love the other two films. Some people are very happy with it. I personally didn't love it, but for a lot of people, it hit exactly what they wanted to. October 22nd, Kino is also releasing The Proud and Profane on Blu-ray. This is going to be a perfect companion piece for the one we just talked about. This is also going to include a new audio commentary with Steve Mitchell and Stephen J. Rubin. This one should be pretty good, directed by George Seaton. You got William Holden, Deborah Kerr in this one. And then after that, Blackout. This is the second title coming out of the Dark Sky Films release. This is a Blu-ray release in this special limited edition slipcover that they're doing. There's only going to be 1,000 copies of this done. And the big deal on this that a lot of people might want it for is this is a Larry Fessenden film. And I actually really like the way he directs films. So I'm thinking about checking this one out. I've not been able to see this one yet.
I don't think I'm familiar with this one.
I'd heard that it was coming out, but I don't think it played anywhere near me. All right, going to our next one. The next imprint title, November 27th, 4K, like the others. This is The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert from 1994. This got a full imprint restoration from the original 35mm negative, supervised by the director. Tons and tons of extras going to be on this one, just like the other ones. New interviews. We've got a bunch of featurettes. We've got the Blu-ray release coming. There's a documentary coming on the third disc. There's commentaries, an exclusive booklet. This whole release, if you love this movie, this release looks fantastic. And I know a lot of people that love this movie.
Do you think this would be up my alley? Because based on these visuals, it's like a visual orgasm here, man. This is...
I'm going to guess probably not so much as you think.
Okay, because I'm just judging based off the pictures that I'm seeing,
right.
And it kind of reminds me of like Holy Mountain with the costumes and stuff. But
yeah, not quite like Holy Mountain. No,
gotcha. I'll pass then.
That should be up for pre-order tonight or tomorrow, I believe, from Imprint. Then we got some titles coming from Eureka. First, November 18th on Blue in the UK only. This is part of their Masters of Cinema line. Edward G. Robinson in Black Tuesday. This is going to have a new commentary with film noir expert Sergio Angelini. You've got a brand new interview with the film historian Sheldon Hall, new video essay by Imogen Sarah Smith on this, who is fantastic at what she does. She was just recently on an episode of Criterion Now. Check that out. Collector's booklet in this with new writing by Barry Forshaw and Craig Ian Mann. I've always heard great things. I've never checked this one out. Definitely want to see this movie absolutely soon. Larry Fessenden is one of the nicest dudes in the industry, says TerrorVision. I would love to meet him. Next up from Eureka is Juggernaut from 1974. This one is going to be limited to 2,000. You got a new commentary with Melanie Williams, who is a British cinema expert. New interview with film historian Neil Sinyard, author of the films of Richard Lester. New interview with film historian Sheldon Hall on Juggernaut and the disaster film trailer. I am very curious with this one because I love some of the disaster films of the 70s.
I do too. I've never heard of this one, but this seems like something I'd definitely enjoy. This is probably something I would blind buy if Orbit or Diabolic has it.
Yeah, they'll have it for sure.
Yeah.
Next up is The Sword. This one is going to be a US and UK release. It'll be November 18th in the UK, November 19th in the US and Canada. This is The Sword from 1980. And this is going to have the original Cantonese audio and optional English dub tracks. New commentary by Frank Jang on this. New commentary by Mike Leader and Arna Venema on this as well. New interview with Andrew Heskins. New interview with the expert Wayne Wong on the sword and the wuxia genre. And then we've got a booklet coming in this with archival interview with Patrick Tam. New essay by Lung Wing Fai. I've heard great things about this. I know friend of the channel that was just on recently, Hunter, loved this movie last year, and sounds great. Sounds like one I definitely need to see. Next up from them is a Shaw Brothers box set of Bond exploitation films, basically. This is when the James Bond films got super popular. They're putting out something called Super Spies and Secret Lies. This is 3 titles from the Shaw Brothers studios. November 18th in the UK, November 19th in the US and Canada. And the 3 films in this are The Golden Buddha, Angel with the Iron Fist, and The Singing Thief. The first 2 are directed by Lo Wei. The last one is directed by Cheng Che. You got new commentaries by Mike Leader and Arna Venema on all of the films. New interview with James Bond expert Luella Chapman on the global Bond mania in the 1960s. New interview with Wayne Wong on this one as well. And then a booklet with new writing on all 3 films by Lane Robert Smith, author of the Hollywood Meme. This sounds fantastic. I really want this one.
Yeah, I'm a little behind on the Shaw Brothers stuff. I didn't buy any of the box sets that Arrow put out. But to be honest with you, this has me intrigued. I like the concept. This might be something I eventually have to purchase. And Def Crocodile was saying it, fun cover art. I love the cover. I love the color palette. Yeah, love it.
Next up today from TerrorVision. This is dropped quietly and hit like a bomb. They are releasing WNUF 2, also known as the Out There Halloween Mega Tape. This is going to be shipping in October, just in time for Halloween. This is the 2022 sequel to WNUF, and 2,000 of these deluxe editions will be available. There will be a standard edition later, but not immediately, so be prepared for that. This is going to be a slide loader and with a booklet and a C and all this other CD and all this other stuff. So if you get the deluxe edition, which if you are a subscriber, this is the version that you are getting. You're going to get the rigid hard box. That's the slide side loader. You're going to have an embossed slipcover. You're going to have a perfect bound book of Trader Tony's mail order catalog. You're going to have a fold out poster, an Immortal Dagger CD, and then a postcard. And then tons of special features. If you've ever watched any of the Chris LaMartina stuff, there are tons of special features on everything that he does. The director always done everything for his releases. He's very happy to put those together. Always happy to talk about them. But if this is not enough for you, they are also doing a deluxe collector's edition bundle. And in this one, not only do you get all that stuff I just said, you also get Nailbiter's book, There's a Mummy in My Locker, and Phantom of the Water Park, which is a spoof on Goosebumps, and those are real books. Out There, Alien Exposed, Crew two-sided shirt, Ivy Sparks bumper sticker, an Immortal Dagger cloth patch, and an enamel pin set. And all of these all together, if you go look on the TerraVision site right now, first off, this is limited to 250 of these. This whole package is only $68. To me, that's an incredible price for everything that you get in this. This is crazy, and they've sold a few hundred copies in just this first day. So if you want one of these, you might want to check it out sooner than later.
Yeah, this is definitely right up my alley. I got the first one, and I think it's the perfect thing to put on in the background if you're having like a Halloween party or event. It's the
Yep.
perfect thing to put on in the background. So I haven't seen the second one obviously, but highly recommend the first one. And based on that, I'm just gonna go ahead and buy this one for sure.
Well, and the cool thing with TerraVision, if you have Frogman on a pre-order, the other deluxe edition that they already announced, and if you want to add that to this so that you only have to pay shipping once, go to checkout and use the code COMBINE, and you won't have to pay shipping again. Don't use that code if you don't have Frogman on order, because they will cancel your order. However, that is such a cool thing for them to do. It's pretty damn nice that they're just willing to do that.
It's a lot nicer than making you spend $750 just to gain access to a poster.
This is true. Stan says, I don't understand what this is. This is essentially a horror anthology that is meant to mimic a night of TV viewing. There's commercials, there's stories, there's full-blown anthology pieces, there's ongoing jokes, there's a lot of stuff in this. There's infomercial type things. You will love this, Stan. Knowing your humor, I think you would absolutely love this release. Absolutely. All right, only a handful left, and then the sale will get going. This next one is November 19th, Classic Flicks. I don't know why that's always so hard for me to say. They're releasing The Little Rascals, The Restored Silence, Volume 1. Now, this is going to going to have 8 of the original Hal Roach Our Gang series titles that were retitled later to The Little Rascals. This is going to have 8 of those silents, and I did have at least one person complain today that said, why are they only releasing 8? I would buy it if it was more. This is only the length of a film. And I had to laugh and say, well, you buy films because they're the length of the film. Buy this because it's the length of a film. This is, if you go to the Classic Flicks website, this has taken them hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of man hours to restore these. And if they don't sell well, they're not going to be able to finish them. They literally outright say that. Just to get these first 8 shorts out has taken them months and months of restoration work and help from people all over the world. This is a big, big deal. And if you are somebody that's into the classic Little Rascals or Our Gang stuff, this is going to be the one to get. And they did have some questions that they prematurely answered on here. Will they be restoring all of them? They want to, but only if they can. If they can't afford to, they're not going to be able to. There are at least 4 that are completely lost, so they clearly will not be able to do all of them. But all the ones that are available, they will, if possible. And then, will there be a Blu-ray set eventually? If they're able to do all of them, they will, but only, again, if they sell properly. And so I understand that it's frustrating if you want the whole set, or if you don't want to invest in this and just get the set later. If you want the whole set or want to be able to put that on your shelf later, you got to be able to, sort of invest in the process with them a little bit. Classic Flicks is a very small team, and they work their ass off on these. They've already had to cancel one project because of low pre-order sales. So be prepared. If this is something that you're into, you might want to take a look at it, because this stuff is not cheap. It's not easy. It is a massive undertaking.
Yeah, it seems like a passion project. I hope not necessarily my thing, but I hope they do well, because it seems like they put a lot of effort into it. So
Absolutely. Just a couple more. This is honestly, I think this is pretty damn cool. SRS Cinema is releasing Truth or Dare Legacy in mid-January. Now, to get this out of the way first, this set is currently listed as BDRs, but if they sell only 200 units by October 1st, they will make it 1,000 pressed Blu-rays instead of BDRs. And for all of their other projects that they've done that for, I think they've all succeeded, so be prepared for that. But if you've never heard of Truth or Dare or any of these are like some of the first direct-to-video titles. The very first one was. The very first one, though, was shot on film, at least that first one was. I'm not sure about the others. Well, in fact, I am sure. A couple of the other ones definitely were not. But they all got new transfers. They are all getting new extras. They're all getting like new commentaries. All kinds of special features going to be on here. It's going to be a great set. I think this is something that if you are into some of the classic slashers, you would probably be into this. And I've got a couple of the other ones that they put out. SRS does good work. They just don't do a lot for everybody. They're quiet behind the scenes. Truth or Dare looks fun though. I've still never seen the first one. I've seen a couple of the sequels. Definitely need to get on this first one.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen any of them. Is that mask actually in the film?
I believe it is, yes.
Nice.
And there are 5 films in this. I just realized I never said that out loud.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you get all 5 on this, and the price at the moment, I believe, is at $90, and you get a poster with it, and everything's restored, tons of extras. This looks like a solid release. Toby says, is this transferred off of tape or film? It depends on the original elements. It's a combination of both of those. Let's finish this up. We've got 2 left. The first is Well Go releasing You Gotta Believe on November 5th on Blu-ray. This is a Luke Wilson and Greg Kinnear story about the Little League World Series. And again, I feel like this is odd poster art with this. Doesn't even look necessarily like Luke Wilson. Something feels off.
Looks like a Lifetime movie, and looks like AI kind of did the cover.
Yep. It is. It's very Lifetime feeling for sure.
Yeah.
And then the last thing, November 26th, Cinedigm releasing Night of the Missing. This is from 2023. This was a Screambox exclusive. This is from the producers of The Gallows. And this says, on a stormy Christmas Eve night, a secretive small-town sheriff gets a visit from a mysterious woman who recounts a series of bizarre stories involving missing persons, both disturbing and unsettling. The most terrifying realization may be that the monster behind them is much closer than anyone thinks. Of course.
Have you seen this? I don't think
I've not. No, I've never subscribed to Screambox. Never even been able to see this. Never heard of it before tonight. I like the cover. Looks like a good cover, but that's definitely not the whole story.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of The Gallows, so based on that, I'm probably going to pass on this, but I do like the cover.
I didn't want to say it, but yeah, that was my exact feeling.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
All right, that was our last announcement for the week, and that got us almost exactly to the sale. But funny enough, we might have just a quick second to go over what is coming out next week before we start that. As we do,
Perfect timing.
Look at that, Sam's here. What's going on, Sam? Look at you being here live. So next week is kind of a pretty huge week of titles. We got that second Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey title coming to Steelbook from Scream Factory. Sweeney Todd 4K coming from Paramount as a standalone. Repo Man 4K from Criterion. League of Their Own 4K from Sony. That Amityville Horror Remake 4K from Scream. The Boy 4K from Scream. Moby Dick from Sandpiper Pictures. Some Warner Archive titles like Words of Music and Three Little Words. Hound of Baskervilles, Blame It on Rio, Lady in White, Lord of Illusions, Marat Sod. Those are all coming from Sandpiper. Naughty Girl from Kino, Linoleum from Shout Factory, Chains of Gold from Kino, World Without Thieves from Shout, I believe. And then that's it. But some of those heavy hitters at the beginning, any of those that you're after?
Honestly, probably Sweeney Todd. I'm thinking that's probably the only one. I heard Amityville Horror, the remake, is terrible. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've never seen it, but
a lot of people hate it. I don't hate it. I think it's surprisingly decent, but I don't have a lot of love for the first film. I think the first Amityville is just kind of okay.
Yeah, it's a little slow. Yeah.
I will say I've seen the 4K of Sweeney Todd, and the 4K is beautiful.
Is it? Yeah. That's the last Tim Burton movie that I enjoyed. To be honest with you, I haven't enjoyed anything since then. So, and I'm sure that's going to change this year with Beetlejuice coming out. But
yeah, I'm excited for that. It looks
good,
genuinely great. And they did did anybody see the riff that they just did on Mario Bava a couple days ago? That they put out like a 3-minute video, really great spoof of Mario Bava, and I'm surprised. I'm very excited to see the sequel.
And they're using practical effects, which thank God. I was waiting for that. Yeah, shout out to Celeste.
Going on, Celeste. Toby, Lady in White does not have a new restoration. Pretty much nothing from Sandpiper has had a new restoration, as far as I'm aware.
So Ryan, before the sale goes live, would you mind if you go solo for like 5 minutes? I'm just going to put my dog out.
Of course, take your
In like
time.
5 minutes. I'll be right
Yeah.
back.
Cool. So tonight, again, there will be sale titles. Let's zoom in here slightly and go over this with everybody. It will reopen at 12:01 Eastern. We're going to have a supposedly massive selection of discounted products, up to 75% off the MSRP, including home video releases, merchandise, and clothing. Fresh batch of out-of-print titles will also be dropped and revealed. Customers who reach certain spending levels, which we know are 500 and 750, will get free VS Media Club rewards in the form of posters. So the way that they're saying that is different than the way that it was referred in our information earlier in the FAQ. So we'll see what that actually means. Even if they're free, like that doesn't feel like a great thing to me to incentivize that. But hey, it works. Mind-bending batch of brand new Vinegar Syndrome and partner label releases dropping on Sunday, September 1st at 12:01 p.m., which means noon, not midnight, Eastern. And there will be new clothing, books, merch, and so much more here at Vinegar Syndrome. I will be, of course, posting all the announcements on Sunday and here all night with all of you. Any questions or any thoughts on what we got going on tonight? Toby says Lady in White would benefit from a 4K. It absolutely would. The director was not involved in this new release in any way. I just want to throw out there that supposedly he didn't even know that it was coming until he saw some of the announcement posts. So take that for what you will. I love The Lady in White. I think it's a beautiful movie, and most people should own it. But I wish that it had everybody involved that needed to be. Craig is asking only VS stuff or partner label stuff too. I believe it will be some partner label stuff. Melusine stuff will also be on sale, but that doesn't count towards the 500 and 750 spend, which is wild. Plan 9, I was going to ask you to borrow money. So you can borrow money if I can borrow it from you first. How's that work? Yeah, I was going to shout this out, and I totally forgot. Brendan says, at the top of the show, I said this, but wanted to say it again. Had my best score ever in all my years of collecting, $2,000 to $3,000 worth of boutique releases for only $150. That is wild. I'd love to see a picture of what you got, Brendan. Kev was watching Truth or Dare, and VS better have the goods. Glad you could pause it. Is this different than Black Friday? Yes, but only because it's happening in August. In other words, no. It seems like Vinegar Syndrome is having a sale every couple of weeks. Hey, Jeremy's here. What's up, Jeremy? We were talking about you earlier about dating Andy Dick's daughter. Glad you could join us. Don't forget about the supposed mobile site. Yes, if you use their app, not the mobile site, but if you use their app, there is supposedly going to be an exclusive item there. Let's see. Yeah, the Melusine stuff not counting is wild. Oh man. I love that we get to keep talking about you dating Andy Dick's daughter. All right. Less than a minute now until it goes on there. 200 plus titles, most out of print. Did you get them in yet? I hope. I don't want you to not get them and be all excited. Not that it's not somebody that's trustworthy. I just really hope you actually get them. David, I've never used their app, and you're saying fuck that app. Is there big problems? The only thing I know about their app is that they don't have the Melusine stuff in there. They didn't have the adult titles because of the app restrictions, which is ridiculous. It's reached the point that Solomon King sales through VS cost us money. That's not good. Yikes. The app isn't the best. I mean, I'm not surprised. Not surprised at all. All right. Looks like it is time. And let's see what they've got. They've got out of print restock of Rad for $38, 4K of Miami Connection. That is a different slipcover. Surf 2 is a different slipcover. We've got some Totally Rad shirt there. VS Back to School shirt. Some slipcover protectors being advertised as a big deal. Let's see. The Totally Rad sale. Out of print. Friday out of print. What do we got in here? Labor of Love, Anatomy of a Psycho, The Lonely Sex, Angel, Bat Pussy. Look at that. Disco Godfather, Decoder, Black Cat 1 and 2, Blue Money, Death Force, and Vampire Hookers double feature. Stan says I'm already over budget. It was on Facebook Marketplace. It's in your back seat. That's amazing. They've got The Final Flesh in there from Agfa, Donnie's Bar Mitzvah, which was out of print. Don't Answer the Phone. Glow from Agfa as well. Look at that. That's crazy. Let me take a look at this rad here. Limit of one. What? They had 1,000 copies? I don't even know what to say about this. Okay, disclaimer. When we first teamed up with Utopia to release RAD on 4K, we agreed on a strictly limited number of units. When going to replication, we received an average of 1,000 discs that we could not sell and were never packaged. In our ongoing transition to our new warehouse, we discovered these discs on their original replication spindles and reached out to Utopia to secure a one-off license to package these overproduced discs. This RAD release is the same as we released in 2020, including the Hell Track poster insert. There are no new extras or artwork and will only be available in standard and strictly limited to one copy per person. Discs on spindles. And they had a limited license to do that. Oh, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not going to be picking up RAD. I already have that Steelbook from Mill Creek, I think it was.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. And this one doesn't have a slipcover either, so
yeah, it's just standard,
which is fine. But
Hell Comes to Frogtown is here. Justice Ninja Styles here. Coco D, Coco Da. Marfa Girl 1 and 2 from Larry Clark.
Have you seen Marfa Girl?
I've not yet.
Yeah, I'm a big Larry Clark guy. Debating on picking that up, but I watched the trailer. It didn't really seem like something I'd like, but
I did pick it up because I like Larry Clark.
I like that cover a lot too.
Yeah. Craig says that Solomon King print is super nice. That is up there, and it's $20, and it's being sold below cost, so grab it. I already did. I love the art on that Solomon King.
I do like the art on that too. Damn, that Hong Kong box set sold out? I didn't even know that was out of print.
It sure did.
Really?
How many do they have of that? 33 left. Jesus.
Shit, I might have to buy that.
They got Pandemonium. They got Party Line. Patty Hearst. Perfect Strangers. Reform Schoolgirl. She Freak. God, some of these have been gone for quite some time. Shot. Sudden Fury. If you don't have Sudden Fury, everybody needs to be getting this. Only 30 left. This is a great movie.
And The Caller. Highly recommend that one. I really like that one.
Caller's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do not buy the first VCR in Cassettes Go Hi-Fi. It is essentially a PowerPoint on a disc.
That's yeah. I'll pass on that. Yeah, there's really nothing here that I need. The only thing I'm thinking about is that Hong Kong box set, and I don't have Angel, to be honest with you. So I might pick that up. But I was hoping to just go on eBay and get the box set from someone because I've seen them go up for a decent amount of price, but we'll see.
If you want the Hong Kong set, you might want to get it quick.
Yeah, I think there's only like 30 of them.
Steel and Lace is only $8.75. What the fuck? All right, let me go through this last page out of print. Oh, this is it. I really like Wacko. Everybody should check this out. Oh, never mind, it's out of stock.
Dude, I love Wacko, man. That's one of my favorite releases they put out. No one likes that movie. I
like Wacko so much.
Yeah, it's got some charm.
All right, browse all discounts. A Gun for Jennifer is on sale because it has the worst cover art in history. Alien from LA is $8.75. Jesus. A gesture tracking is only $8.75. $10 with the slip. What in the world? How did this not sell out? Oh man, some of these are very cheap right now. Beats from Music Box Selects is $7.50. Curfew is $8.75. Curfew is pretty good. Commando Ninja's hilarious. If anybody has not checked that out, that's a great price for that, $7.50.
I did buy that.
Death Promise is an amazing movie. If you've never checked that one out, absolutely love that one.
One of my favorites as well. Demon Wind? What's going on with that?
Just the standard is on
Oh,
sale.
okay. I was gonna say, man.
$13 for Demon Wind.
Are you a fan of The Devil Story?
If I'm in the right mood, yeah.
I've seen so many bad reviews that it's completely discouraged me from watching it, but I feel like I might like it. It just seems so bizarre, you know?
Right. Toby's upset that Singapore Sling isn't discounted. That came out this year, my friend. And beyond that, it's sold well for them, so they have no reason to discount it.
Have you seen that yet?
Singapore Sling, no, I've not. I've kind of set it to the side because it's one that it feels like I got to be in the right mood for.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. I've seen it, not the restored version, but not a big fan, man. There's a lot of vomit and shitting, and not really my thing.
David says Curfew is one of the worst movies ever made. Man, I completely disagree. Steel and Lace Rocks, Ninja Commando is cheap, absolutely. Sam is saying, why subscribe anymore? That's a great question. Celeste says, the booklet on Hong Kong set is great. Shout out to Erica Schultz. Heck yes. Celeste says, Singapore Sling is fucking amazing. David rated it a 0.5 star on Letterboxd for a Curfew. Damn. Also, is this still in stock? I don't want to recommend it if it's not. Okay, so Demon Wind. I adore Demon Wind. This is like one of my favorite catalog titles from Vinegar Syndrome. I have a. This is how much I love Demon Wind. I have a screen-used latex finger from the costume here in my movie room. Demon Wind is great. Everybody should check it out.
That's actually one I haven't seen yet.
It's a lot of fun.
What's up,
Bob's
Bob?
here.
Yeah, shout out to Bob.
Some vinyl in from ETR on sale. Forgotten Jolly Volume 5 for $36. Standard on Volume 1 is $24. Yikes.
Dude, honestly, what is the point of subscribing anymore? Nothing's selling out and everything's being discounted every other month. So,
and discounted heavily.
Yeah.
Like more than your subscription is discounted.
Yikes. Yeah, at least we're getting real sales again. We weren't getting real sales for a long time. I feel like Severance started it a couple months ago with the $7 Blu-rays, and now we're getting a bunch of $10 titles here. So,
yeah, this is for some of these. The prices are absolutely where they should be, but also those are the ones for the standards usually, like the $7.50 for this. I think we're alone now, of course. Killer
debating on
Condom.
getting that Homegrown Horrors. I have the first volume. Debating on getting the second one.
I've not watched the second one yet.
Yeah.
Craig says, is Demon Wind about bad gas? Not entirely. Kind of. No, it's not. Killer Condom, highly recommend that one. Some of these VS Publishings are on sale. Last Picture Show print is on sale. $42 for that. Ugh.
Yeah, I wouldn't really want that on my wall, to be honest with you. I didn't even pick that box set up.
Honestly, it's a couple of the films are decent, but the doc in there alone is pretty fantastic.
I just feel like they could have done so much better for celebrating 10 years, and then, it's just a bunch of unknown. And I like the concept of it, that they found all these films that no one's really seen, but um, I probably would have preferred 10 titles that I might have heard of that
Right,
had better
right.
quality.
Craig copied from IMDb that says Demon Wind tries to exploit the success of Evil Dead series, but without any charismatic lead characters, suspense, or comedy. I disagree. It is rather funny.
It's actually it's one of my favorite releases that they've done horror wise.
Yeah.
I recommend Demon Wind.
I am shocked that they're selling a 35 millimeter trailer for New York Ninja on sale for almost $70. Prospect print is on sale.
Would you rather pick that up or the Hitcher 4K for $10 less? You know what I mean?
Oh, that's a good point.
And the Hitcher is pretty expensive for a second sight releasing. But
Yeah.
still, I'd much rather pick that up than a trailer on 35 millimeter.
Sex Mission with the slipcover is $17, and that came out just this year. That's wild. I know a lot of people hated this movie. I really enjoyed Shit and Champagne, and you can get it with a slipcover for only $8.75. This movie is hilarious. Uh, if you are into like the drag queen style of comedy, it is funny as hell. Sam says the app exclusive item is a beach towel.
I mean, it's kind of cool, I guess, but it's probably like $85 for towels.
Jeremy says Melusine has a lot of their out of print DVDs back in stock. Very nice, very nice. Best deal of the day is the Clue documentary for $6.25. If the documentary was better, that would be a better deal. Skateboard is really cheap. Damn. With the slipcover for $10, and that thing had a Kickstarter. That is, I mean, that kind of feels a little not great either. Had a Kickstarter, and now you can get the film for $10 with a slip.
That is a slap in the face, man. Of course, the Cardona collection is on sale.
And they just teased the third one coming out next year.
Really? That's not bad though. $20.
Yep.
Damn. I have a hard time with those movies, man. I'll watch anything disturbing. The stuff that I can't get through is animal cruelty. Like I cannot watch it, man. And I've sat through plenty of it, but I don't want to revisit it. And I heard there's tons of birds being murdered in the second box set. I think it's called Beaks, right? Is that the movie? Beaks, yeah.
And the third one has that Cats film, which has some cat violence.
Yeah, I don't want to see that, dude.
Let's see. The Great Land of Small. Recommend this one if you are into it. Of course. Where is it? Look at this. New World Pictures podcast episode on the Great Land of Small. New World Pictures in the chat tonight. Highly recommend you check out that release. Glad that they could get on the Blu-ray for that. Hey, The Scary of 61st. Recommend nobody buy this. Hated this movie.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard one single person co-sign that film.
However, Tough Guys Don't Dance, compared to that, is a masterpiece. Everybody should have Tough Guys Don't Dance. And it's only $10. That's a great deal.
And you're not being sarcastic, right? You're being serious?
Not at all. Tough Guys Don't Dance is a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a great question. Chris is saying, what's the point of the Black Friday sale when some of these other sales have way better prices? Literally. Black Friday is only 50% off. This has stuff for $8.75. It's hard to argue with. It's a great
At this pace, though, man, Black Friday, they might be $6, some of these titles. So who knows?
It's a good point. Only $60 of that box set for the Lost Picture Show. That's not a bad price. Jesus, the shirt is $5.50 if you're wearing a small.
What?
Does it go up? $5.75 for an extra large, all the way up to $6.25 for a 4X. That is a very cheap shirt.
Yeah, I'm about to just buy a bunch of shirts. It's a great price for a shirt.
All those people that just bought this sign brand new, and now it's already on sale. It's only 10% off, but hey, it's on sale. God, there's all kinds of shirts on sale right now.
Even the comic books. Didn't they just come out less than a year
Yeah,
ago?
these are single chapters, though. These are not the full box.
Gotcha. I did want that hard box. I mean, I love the artwork on all of them, especially the Maniac one. It looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'm honestly never going to read them. They're just going to collect dust on the shelf. And I was like, I don't know if I want to cough up, 60, 70, 80 bucks on these.
Sorry about that, Brendan. Brendan was trying to get Shaka and it sold out as he was checking out. I hate when that happens.
Damn.
Let's see. I love this name. Sand Hamwich. This is a total dud of a sale for me. Hoping to pick something up another day. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Don't forget, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, there will be out of print drops at noon Eastern every day. And then, of course, we have, I still can't believe this number is accurate, 19 new partner label titles releasing on Sunday, plus all of the Vinegar Syndrome titles releasing on Sunday as well. And beyond that, to make everybody feel absolutely worst about the fact that you don't have your Severance sale box yet, it's about to be September, which means it's about to be the flash pre-order for the Black Friday sale coming up in just a handful of weeks. So get ready for that.
I'm honestly kind of in love with that Surf 2 cover.
It's a nice looking cover. Celeste says Rad is already down to 250. So if you really wanted it, you got to get it now.
That's crazy. That means they sold 750 of those in like 15 minutes. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
I'm surprised they sold that many.
His cart. Jeez. Yeah, and this is absolutely training folks, like Craig says here, not to buy things when it's first released. I don't get it.
And it's across the board too. It's not just like their physical media. It's even some of the merchandise,
Sam's asking, am I going to be live on Sunday? I didn't plan on it, but I don't know. I could think about it. How do they I love that comment, Craig. How do they convince 750 people in 15 minutes they have to have a cheesy BMX movie on 4K? Well, because it's not $200 like the copies on eBay.
But those are $200 because of the lenticular slipcover. These are just the bare bones. So I'm surprised that many people are actually buying these because, just as well as I do, man, that lenticular, that was the selling point for the most part. That's why people wanted it.
That, and it's a nostalgia bait movie. A lot of people grew up with Rad. I didn't have that nostalgia for it because I had never seen it before the release.
Yeah. But now that there's other options as far as a steelbook, you know what I mean? A lot of people probably just settled for that. And I don't know if people are going to upgrade to 4K without the slip. I mean, I'm sure a bunch of people obviously just did, but
yeah,
still shocking.
20 copies of Sex World with slip on Melusine. I'd go over to Melusine, but there's a lot of shit that I can't show over there.
Yeah. Don't recommend that one, man.
Zero interest in Rad, says Jeremy, but happy for everyone else to get it. Haven't seen Rad. Is it like BMX Bandits? Not really. I like BMX Bandits more than Rad, I gotta be honest. So how we feeling, everybody? I see a lot of people's, recommending things, which is great. How's it feel overall? Looking at what we got for out of print titles, looking at the sale prices, is this a positive? Is this a negative?
I mean, dude, it makes me want to wait every single time for these sales. Like, I don't ever buy anything when it first comes out anymore. I think the last one was Existence because it was going out of print. I saw it. and I think it was down to 100, and I just settled for it and just went ahead and bought it. But for the most part, when these releases are coming out for 10 to 15 bucks a couple months later, a year later, and none of them are selling out, I'll sleep on it for a year till it goes half price. There's really no reason to buy these.
Right.
I don't understand the marketing behind it. I really, it's bizarre to me. Their approach to selling these, it's very fucking bizarre to me. I don't
Yeah.
understand it.
It's kind of frustrating. I definitely get that.
Do you think, as far as how many they print, as far as their releases, they're going to start to decrease the numbers? Because I mean, if they're sitting on all the stock and they have to cut the price in half a couple months after they release it, I mean,
I mean, that's the question. Do they have to cut the price, or are they encouraging people to buy faster and they're okay selling um, a higher quantity at a lower price because maybe they're still about making the same amount doing that? I mean, we got to think about it like Kino. Kino Lorber is releasing stuff and selling it for $9.99 3 months later, and they'll sell literally thousands of copies of that. Is that a good thing? I mean, I'm not entirely sure.
that's a fair assessment. It probably balances out, you know?
But I mean, I've been saying for the last couple of years that Kino and VS are absolutely training everybody never to purchase anything unless it's on sale, which that can't be good for you on your bottom line, period.
Right.
If you're releasing something at, I don't know, $28 and you are having people wait until it's $18, you would probably want to make the extra $10 if possible. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Scream Factory, when they release something, the slip is guaranteed for 3 months, and then it's not going on a sale for a while. Or if
Right.
it's a sale, you're going to get like $2 off on Amazon. But for the most part, you're going to have to wait for that release. With VS and I guess Severin with the last sale, it's very unpredictable if you should wait on a sale or just buy it, because random things sell out. Like, I didn't know that Hong Kong box set, so I had no idea. I was
Yeah.
clueless, because again, I've kind of been out of touch as far as Vinegar Syndrome and their new releases, because before I was paranoid. I was checking the website every week because things were selling out, and now I'm like, oh shit, I haven't checked the website for 2 months, and I go back and it's still over 1,000. So I'm like, I
Yeah.
feel no rush to buy anything really.
Stefano says, "Does anyone know how many subscribers VS has?" They have never said that publicly, and I don't think they ever will. I think that's something that they kind of have to keep close to the vest because it is very indicative of their health as a company. And you got to think about that because last year the subscription at the cheapest tier, if you were a subscriber the year before, I think it was, oh man, I think it was 870 after the discount from the previous year. And so even if they have 1,000 of those, which not everybody was a subscriber the year before, so that's clearly not the case. But even being worst case scenario, say they have 1,000 subscribers at $870, $870,000 is a huge influx of cash at the beginning of the year. And that alone can pay for licensing for most of your films for the entire year, literally. And then all of the other stuff that you get from income from people in sales and day one purchases throughout the rest of the year. Then you can start paying people for special features and buying materials and buying all this other stuff. That's a lot of money. That's a huge influx to get at the beginning of the year. And I bet they have more than 1,000 subs.
I would think so, but then again, who am I to judge? Clearly they know what they're doing. They're
Right.
continuously expanding, so I just don't personally understand. It's very inconsistent as far as the pricing. But being a subscriber, though, I've never been a subscriber, but if I was, I would kind of question it, because I'd be like, well, I'm paying more for these titles than you guys are in a few months, or
Right.
just doesn't really make any sense.
Horror Guy says, I don't think they're just sitting on stock. They're moving to another much bigger warehouse, so you were bound to find stuff that they don't have to transport. Sure, but 1,000 of them? I could understand 30 of them. Sure. All the 75 wait. All the 75% off titles on Melucine are still 50% off. I need to get over to Melucine. That makes no sense. So it's just incorrect over there. Gay Lord of the Rings, it's the limited aspect that gets people to buy at regular price. Some stuff doesn't make it a sale price. Barbarella special edition. I mean, that's Arrow, not VS. So yes, I agree the limited aspect is a big deal. But I still really hope that most people, especially on this channel, are buying for the disc and not for the slipcover. Like I personally, like, if a title had a slipcover, I'd rather have it. I'm not putting that part down. But remember, it is about the film more so than the cardboard that wraps around it. Wanted that made in Hong Kong set Black Cat 1 and 2 in Justice Ninja style and missed out on all of them? God damn.
Damn, Celeste is saying Last Gasp is finally under 100. That's insane. That's been on sale the last, what, 6 sales, I think?
Yeah.
It's always been for $10.
Celeste says, I don't know, stuff like this does make me question if I'm going to re-up my sub. I completely get it. That's a big question. Important question. Are the free nudie pens here this time around? I'm not checking, Ronnie, I promise. Think about how many release copies they deal with plus convention stock. Well, Eric, you can DM me if you want. I can talk to you about some of that. How much for the lobby cards? Well, this isn't a Shout Factory sale, thankfully. Craig
I
says,
forgot about those. I forgot about those.
Are sub buyers paying 50%? If so, how do they feel about selling for less than that after the fact? We are, as subs, paying like 45%, 48%, somewhere around there. Technically, you're saving a little bit of money. You're getting like 1 or 2 releases for free, essentially, and getting everything else at the half off sale price. So yeah, you're getting slightly better than 50% off, but it's certainly not $10 with the slipcover titles. God dang, the 50% off titles on Melusine are also wrong. That's crazy.
They seem to always have glitches in the beginning of the sale with the pricing. I've even grabbed a couple that were supposed to be like $25, but they, had them priced at $10. But they honored it. I still got it, but
Right.
they always have some kind of glitch.
Jesus. And I just barely saw this. The countdown says countdown to 7 new VS and sub-label releases, which means on Sunday there will be 26 new releases in one day. 26 new releases. That is insanity.
I love the fact that, we're getting so much physical media, but I'm not going to lie to you. It is a little overwhelming, like keeping up with all that stuff that's coming out. 26 is a lot, dude. That's a shit ton of movies. But you know what? I'd rather have 26 than 2, at least we're having options.
I agree with that. Steven says, this is my second year running with the subscription. Have already determined to not subscribe next year for a few reasons. Makes sense. I mean, I think there's a lot of people thinking the same thing. This new Miami Connection slipcover is wild.
That's all right. I'm not a big fan of it, though.
I don't even love the movie. The colors are insanity.
Yeah. Again, I love that Surf 2 cover. I hated the movie, but I love that cover.
Yeah. Oh, man. David says, I don't regret subscribing because I love free shipping and that partner discount. I mean, yeah, I get that.
Depends on how many partner labels you're picking up, though,
Yeah, to make that worthwhile, you got to pick up a lot of them.
Exactly. For someone like me, it's not worth it. I pick up maybe 10 partner titles a year, if that.
Which means if you count all of that out, you're saving like 80 or $100
right
through the sub if they did that. Yeah, if you're doing that, that's not enough. Kevin says 26 is a lot, but it's something for everyone. I'm not a big VS main label guy, but I will buy every AGFA, Saturn's Core, VHS Hitfest, and Bleeding Skull. But there's people that don't even look at those. I mean, I will buy most of those as well. I'm a big fan of those. The hard part is 26 is a lot for for a few reasons. I mean, if you are one of those partner labels that if the title of the movie that you're releasing on Sunday starts with a W, you're at the bottom of 19 partner label titles. You're the last one people see, and they've already determined that they're going to buy these other 5, and now they can't afford anymore. And then you're screwed because you're just lower on the list. It's also easy to not get enough like attention on your title. If you're announcing something and you only get to announce one title a month, you should have your own moment of glory on social media, be able to get like some actual buzz going for your title. You can't do that when there are 25 other disc release coming out at the exact same moment.
That's actually a really good point. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, if I was at the bottom of this list, I would feel a little insulted because you have so much competition. And you're right. By the time they get to the bottom, chances are there's 6, 7 items in their cart. They're done.
I get what you're saying, Celeste. Completely understand that. Brian says, interesting sale, better than most, and I filled in one of my last remaining VS holes. What'd you get, Brian? Down to only 2 that you're missing. Crazy.
And honestly, I don't even think I buy 8 partner labels anymore because the main one that I would buy is, there you go, Def Crocodile. They were the main ones that I would buy their stuff from the VS site. TerraVision, and then also Fun City Editions, but they're all gone. So
Yep. Maybe they should switch to releases on the 1st and the 15th. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you should just let partner labels announce whenever they want to.
I've had the same issue, Gage. I can't use my PayPal anymore on the VS site for some reason.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I've had the same issue. It's not even an option for me anymore. Very odd. It's when they switched over to whatever companies, I forget what company it was. They make you sign in with a different account now.
Oh, isn't it Shop Pay or whatever?
Yes. Now that's my only option other than putting in my card. But
Well,
I used to be able to just use PayPal.
I believe you can sign out of Shop and then you can probably use PayPal.
Okay, let me try that.
Gage, if that's your thing, you may want to check on that. See if you can log out from Shop. Hey, Blake's here. I'll say that the only thing that has annoyed me as a sub is locking exclusive items behind spending tiers. Yeah, it's pretty gross, I gotta be honest. If you're a sub, that should be unlocked immediately. I mean, literally, if you were willing to give them $870 to $930 at one point this year, why would they lock that behind a sales tier? Oh, the Melusine title. Nice. Glad you got it. Oh, there we go. Reservoir just used PayPal. So yeah, it's working for some. Kev got These Fists Break Bricks. That's a good book. 2 VHS Hit Fist releases: Killer Condom, Homegrown Horrors 2, Frostbiter, Bloodsucking Freaks, and Eternal Combat. Damn, nice. I mean, yeah, subs get free shipping, but you can already get free shipping just by spending like $100. If you're waiting anyways, you can lock in free shipping multiple ways. This is well said there, Celeste. Asking for $750 in a single weekend after you've asked for a subscription is a bold move. Well, I know a lot of people are going to be staring at Vinegar Syndrome for a while. However, I know Planet Mondo and I want to not be awake all night. So we're going to talk about our film discussion now. We are going to discuss disturbing art house films, and what we were going to do is list our 5 favorites, and then after this, I'll let Mondo know if he can leave, and if everybody wants to hang out and talk VS a little longer, I can. But we've got lots to discuss because I love disturbing movies. I also really love art house movies, and combining the two get me some of my favorite films of all time. So we already talked about why we were going to be talking about this tonight. Some of yours that are on this list, I'm sure, are going to be the same as mine. So I'm going to let you go first. And I ended up writing down 12. So if you say one that I was going to have on my list, I'll just throw in a sub and go with something else.
Hopefully I picked some other ones. I think one we're definitely gonna have in common, possibly two. But I tried to select some ones that aren't the usual. By the way, I did check out of the shop whatever it was. It did let me use PayPal. So
Oh, sweet.
if you're having that issue, log out, log back in, you're good to go.
Gauge that. That's got to be it. And I can't speak. The log out for shop, was that hard to find? Because I feel like the first time I had to do that, it was hard to sign out.
Yes. That's why I was silent for a minute. I was trying to figure that out. I couldn't figure it out. Very busy. Stop using that shop thing. And PayPal was so much easier.
Shop pay sucks.
Yeah. But anyway, this one, I haven't seen anybody else associate this with disturbing necessarily. It's a fairly new movie. It's a neon film. It's called Pleasure. I don't know if you've seen this.
I've not seen it yet. I've heard great things.
It's definitely got some. It's the dark side of porn, right? Can be disturbing to some sense. I love this movie. I highly recommend this. I don't think it's I think it's a region 2. Yeah, it's from Decal Releasing. Definitely check this out if you haven't. I'm surprised you haven't seen this.
I got it in from Movie in the UK, and I've just not put it in yet. My mom comes over for Movie Mondays every week, and that's not a watch with my mom type of movie.
No, this is very explicit. This is very, very graphic. The only other movie that I've seen a full-blown shot in is Caligula. This has some, so I mean, this is up there, you know. Yeah, definitely don't watch this with any family members at all. But it is a neon film, and once again, I have a slight obsession with neon now. So I didn't even know they did this until I was selecting this title, and I looked on the back, and I was like, "Holy shit, it's a neon film." But highly recommend this if you haven't seen this. And you're okay with looking at the dark side of porno with some fetishes and things of that nature, check this out, you know. And if you're not into it, it's definitely going to be disturbing for you. So, but it's very artsy though. It's the cinematography is beautiful, color palette. It's a gorgeous looking movie. Just a little fucked up.
I wanted to let everybody know before I said my first title. Supposedly the Melusine site is fixed, so the discount should be proper over on that side now. Justin just posted that in my Discord, so it should be good to go. My first one, not sure if you were going to pick this one, but this one I think is a little borderline for the whole disturbing thing, because it's disturbing in a couple ways. There's one truly disturbing, really great scene, but then the last third of the film gets extremely existential, and it's disturbing in a way that makes you like question your existence, your purpose, on all these things, in not a way like Pleasure, of course, but there are definitely like some gore scenes and stuff like that. I had to talk about Alex Garland's Annihilation for a minute because obviously this movie is a mindfuck in multiple ways, but the bear scene, for anybody that has seen this, you know, of course, the reputation behind it, that scene is insanity. The way that they had, you know, worked on the special effects to get that to work, and the skeleton and all that is terrifying. Like if you look at some of the behind the scenes shots, it's a wild way that they took care of that. But really, like the whole last 15 minutes of this was way more disturbing for me than I thought it was going to be, because obviously you've invested yourself in this character and the storyline of like redemption that you're hoping for, and then the last 15 minutes is just like this weird questioning of everything that's around you, of, you know, you being literally disturbed was part of the ride, and you feeling the joy of you know, finding a happy ending is not going to work out, and everything just turns into this weird glimmering, what is my life, I hate everything moment. And it's pretty damn disturbing, at least to me.
It's funny you brought up Alex Garland because he's hands down one of my current favorite directors. Like I adore Ex Machina. I loved Annihilation. And I know a lot of people don't like Men. I think Men was the best movie of 2022 for me. Like I fucking loved that movie because not too many films, you know, tackle the I guess the cycle of trauma that men go through and how we don't express our emotions and how we just kind of repeat ourselves. I thought it was a brilliant film, and it was fucked up. Like that movie also was very disturbing to me at the end.
Yeah.
But Annihilation, man, I felt the same way. I felt empty by the end of the movie, and I was just like, again, not to bring up mushrooms again. I felt like I had a bad mushroom trip. You know,
That is a
I like
a
came out
mushroom
of it.
movie.
Yeah, I came out of it, and I was just like, what is this? Like, what is the point of this? What am I? What am I? I don't even know what I am. You know, um, dude, all those three movies I love. Civil War kind of a letdown, but I hope he doesn't retire because I know he announced that he's not going to be directing
Yeah.
anymore. Please come back. I need some more fucked up movies from you, sir. Please give us more.
But also, he's a great writer. So
Yeah,
if you're gonna leave directing, just keep writing your ass off. Even if
yeah.
other people direct your shit, just keep working because you're an incredible writer.
I really want him to direct it himself though, because I mean, Ex Machina, Annihilation, and Men back to back. Him and Ari Aster are like my two favorite new directors. I guess newish. Robert Eggers is another one. Ty West. I mean, I can go on and on, but dude, I love his movies. So yeah, Annihilation is definitely definitely up there for me as well.
Sweet. All right,
All
what's your
right,
second one?
let me go with Lars von Trier, Antichrist. Pretty predictable on a disturbing movies list, but it is very artsy. I think this is also. Oh man, I haven't watched this probably in a couple years. It's definitely not a comfort movie of mine. You know, it's not something I go to. Um, I do appreciate the cinematography in it. It's got that art house vibe, obviously. Disturbing in the sense of, you know, living with regret and not being able to cope with it. Relationship issues. I mean, just there's folklore in there mixed a little bit. The beginning of the movie is so fucked up. I mean,
Yeah.
just right off the bat, it just makes you just hate everything about it. It's just like, what, dude? What just happened? Did an infant just literally like
Yeah.
it's up there? But Lars von Trier, man, he's one of those people that I hope he makes more movies. I don't know if he's got anything coming out, but you know, it's been quite some time. But Antichrist is probably my favorite movie of his. If I'm being honest, I think that's probably my favorite one.
Well, I was going to save this for last, but I will come in and talk about my Lars von Trier. My
Oh,
favorite Lars von Trier is The House That Jack Built, and I think this movie is a modern masterpiece.
yeah.
If you have not heard this, go listen to They Live by Film. They did a complete Lars von Trier retrospective series where they covered, I think, two or three films per episode for a couple months and went through his entire filmography. And I was on there to talk about Nymphomaniac and The House That Jack Built. And The House That Jack Built is, if you've never seen it, essentially it's a serial killer story told from the point of view of the serial killer, and it's a black comedy mixed in with this almost like surreal sanitized version of what he's living, because he's clearly got like some OCD tendencies, which they do very well in this film. But this film goes places by the end, which I don't really want to spoil, because it is a moment that if you have never seen this movie, you are not ready for the first time that you watch this. But on the disturbing side, it's Lars von Trier. So there's going to be a lot of shit in this movie. And probably the most well known is that there's a scene where he kills a couple of children. And the fucked up part about it is he literally poses them afterwards in just the most sadistic, wild way. The movie makes you ask yourself a lot of questions. There's a really great like vignette, I guess is a great way to say it, with Uma Thurman, which kind of came out of nowhere. Matt Dillon is amazing in this movie. This movie will surprise you, it will shock you, but truly watch this movie for those last 12 to 15 minutes. If you've never seen this, it's a descent into a very disturbing ending that should have been very expected the entire time. But this movie, I really think, will be known as his masterpiece. Obviously, he's done a lot of great stuff like The Idiots and some of his others, but I can't help but rewatch this like every 2.5, 3 years. I've seen it, I think, 3 times now. This movie is stupendous.
Yeah, actually, that might actually be my favorite Lars von Trier. I completely forgot about the House that Jack Built. I remember my first time watching it. I could not believe that they actually went there and showed the child catching a headshot.
Yep.
I just sat there. I was like, holy shit, they really just did that. And then he sat them down and had a fucking picnic. I'm like, dude, what? What the fuck am I watching? Absolutely love that movie. I think Scream Factory put it out, right? I think they have a
They
pretty
did,
decent.
yeah. And then for anybody that's super fortunate to be able to get it, Curzon in the UK did a full Lars von Trier career box set. It's
Yeah.
only got his film stuff. It doesn't have his TV work on the Kingdom, but it's a great box set. I will say one of the frustrating things for me is the films that are in English. There are no subtitles for those films, even though subtitles exist. They're on the Shout Factory disc. Why couldn't we get them on the Curzon disc? Makes no sense. I watch everything with subtitles, so I wanted it.
Did you grab that set?
I did. I
Oh,
did not have most of his films, and it was the perfect way
nice.
for me to get all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I totally forgot that got released, and a couple weeks ago, it was still on orbit, and I went to go buy it, and it was fucking sold out by the time I went back.
I don't think it's out of print, so it should come back.
I hope so, man. I really want that box set, actually.
Those box sets are incredible. Curzon is
Yeah,
doing something out of this
and I
world.
love the art on there. Oh my
Yep.
god, dude, that was a gorgeous release, and I really wanted that one. So I hope it comes back, so we can have access to it in the States. But yeah, I would. Anybody sees that out there on any of these websites get restocked, let me know because I definitely want to grab that. But
Yeah.
that's a great pick, man.
All right. What do you got next?
This is another movie that made me question everything, including my own existence and the afterlife and what is life itself. Is there heaven? Is there hell? It's got cults. It's extremely graphic, disturbing in many ways from the gore to the subject matter itself. It's none other than Martyrs, the original French. I assumed you were probably going to have this on
It
your
was on
list.
the list. I'll sub
Yeah.
it out for sure. But I mean, this movie
Um,
is a masterpiece.
I love this movie so much. I, and none of it bothered me when it came to the gore. I think it's the subject matter. You know, the
Yeah.
ending. It left me feeling gross. And again, it wasn't because of the torture. It wasn't any of that. It was what happened. I was like, dude, I see why this movie is on these lists now. And I love this movie, man. Like this is one I'll rewatch. I've watched it probably 3 times now. There you go. Toby saying Martyrs is a favorite film ever. And yeah, I agree. This is absolutely a masterpiece. This is a modern masterpiece. If you're gonna watch this, make sure you watch the French version.
Yes.
The American remake is nothing like this. Go for the French version. I'm not sure if it's streaming, but I think Umbrella put out this nice little edition. I think it did have another release too. I bought it on Amazon years ago, but once I saw Umbrella put this out, I figured I'd grab this. But yeah, man, Martyrs, absolutely, absolutely fucking love this movie. And yeah, it had to be on there.
Martyrs is like the ultimate pick for this topic for art house disturbing because the real thing that's disturbing about this is kind of like everyday life. It feels like at this point with the depression stuff that we're getting shoved down our throats by the media and the world itself. A lot of what is terrifying about this is just the complete lack of regard for human life and empathy in any way. It will it will mess you up, and obviously if you are weak for gore, you're going to be extra fucked up. But the real like terrifying gut wrenching stuff is just how terrible people are. That's where
Yeah.
this movie is bad.
But like this movie is nothing like a torture porn. You know what I mean? It's
No.
not. It's this movie has meaning. There's layers to it. It's got onion layers. Like this is
Yep.
something that you can do a deep dive on. So I give it a lot more credit than your typical little torture porn movies. Because again, I'm not really a fan of those movies. They don't bother me, but it's not necessarily my go-to type of subgenre. But Martyrs, highly, highly recommend this if you haven't seen it. Go check that out.
Yep, it's a masterpiece, absolutely. Everybody should get on it. I don't believe it was ever released in the States on Blue. I think we're still waiting on that. But yeah, it does have multiple Blu-ray releases, so you should be able to figure that out there. Let's see which one to talk about next. Maybe the closest thing to Martyrs, since I paired the last one. I'm gonna go with and really you can go with either version of this movie. We just said for Martyrs, watch the French one. I'm gonna talk about Michael Haneke's Funny Games. And this is another one that is very art house disturbing. And again, it's the complete lack of human regard, complete lack of regard for human life, and the complete missing empathy in people that makes this a disturbing film. There's no heart. There's just absolutely, cold, empty brains attacking a family. And based on what you get, you're left feeling cold and empty afterwards. And the way the way that even watching you as a viewer have your expectations subverted by the twist that they do in this film, which is not just normal twist, so I will not spoil it. Uh, it it fucks with you in a way that feels like you're more vulnerable because it changes the way that you literally watch the movie. It's not about, oh, the story changes and now you have to, understand that. This is completely different. This movie is a mastercraft in showing the darkness behind people. This is a mastercraft of showing the way that a filmmaker can change the way that films are made. And even better, he did it twice. He went and did it great in his original language and then did a shot by shot US remake with Tim Roth and Naomi Watts. And honestly, they're both amazing. You can't really go wrong with watching either one. I think the performances in both are very comparable, and they're both a win. Everybody should see at least one of the Funny Games at least once.
Now, the original got the Criterion, right?
It did.
Gotcha. So the version with Naomi Watts, did that ever get a good release? Or
I think in the States the best it has is the DVD. I don't even think we have a Blu-ray of that.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's disappointing because I've never seen the remake. I've only seen the original.
Naomi Watts might be like what tips that one over the edge for me because she's always amazing, but she is very vulnerable in this movie. It's such a well done remake.
Did you see her in Goodnight Mommy, the remake for Amazon?
I did, and was not very happy with it. But I mean, she's pretty much always great at what she does.
Yeah. I love the original Goodnight Mommy. That could also be a disturbing art house film, I would say.
I had it on my list of backups.
Oh, there you go. I love that movie, man. I just totally forgot about that. Yeah, I should have picked that up too. That could have been on my list.
Good movie.
Yeah, amazing movie. Oh man, it's disturbing for many. I don't want to spoil it because I really think you should go check it out. But if you haven't, avoid the Naomi Watts remake. Go watch the original. The original is much better. All right, let me get into my next one. This one, I guess you could call this art house. This is not a movie I can watch too often. This is a once every decade type of thing, if that. But I think it's a very important film. It punches you in the face with fascism. I think it's very important to not censor this film and have it out there for historic reasons. I'm going to go with the criterion of Salo. This movie, I was afraid to watch it for the longest time. And I watched it and I appreciate it for what it was because I didn't view it as like a sick, perverted film that's trying to, put all these sexual acts on display for fun. I think it's a historic piece. I think it's very important for movies like this to exist. In a Glass House is another one.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very similar. It's not something I want to watch every few years. But I'm glad I watched it. It did something to me that it disturbed me. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm sure a lot of people probably have seen Salo. We have a lot of cinephiles in here, obviously. But yeah, man, this movie took me out, man. This movie took me out. There's only one other movie I really couldn't finish aside from the animal cruelty stuff. Animal cruelty movies, I try to skip through it. Calamity of Snakes was one. I bought it, man. I turned that shit off in 15 minutes. I was like, dude, you guys killed 4,000 snakes in 10 minutes. I don't think I can get through this. But this movie was one of the roughest ones I've gone through, but I appreciate it for what it's trying to get across. It's a crazy fucking movie. And it's all about fascism, and disregard for human life, like you were saying about the last movie. Very, very similar themes. So Salo. Yeah. What are your thoughts on Salo?
I mean, I very much appreciate it more than I enjoy it, obviously. I think it's a very important film, and everybody needs to watch it at least once. I think that the stories of, like, my friend Laurent from Wicked Vision in Germany fighting with the government in Germany to allow them to release it because they would not allow them to release it is one of the more important parts of it. Obviously, there's a lot of people that are turned off because, oh, there's poop. Like, there's so much more to this movie than just that one sentence reputation. It's so fucking ridiculous that that's what it's been reduced to. This movie's it's again, it's a masterpiece, but in a very different way, and it's not one that I like. I don't think I would be upset if I never saw it again. But that
Right.
being said, like, everybody should see this at least once. This is one of those movies.
Yeah, I agree. Is it still in print?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Is it? Okay. Yeah, I remember it was hard to get for a while. But yeah, I'm very much the same way. I appreciate for what the movie stands for, but it's not something I can necessarily sit there and watch over and over again.
Right.
I've only watched it one time in full, and I realistically probably won't ever watch it again, to be honest with you. But yeah, man, Solo, it's a heavy hitter, man. It's a heavy movie. I see Celeste is a big fucking fan of
Celeste
Solo.
loves
No
Solo.
surprise there.
My next one is another one that I think it was this year that I watched it for the first time. Going with another Criterion, so that's what I'm going to group together here. At the next Criterion sale, if you do not have 2007's 4 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days, you absolutely need to pick it up. This is a movie about a woman in 1980s Romania who is trying to get an illegal abortion. And this movie is fighting against everything that we're fighting in 2024, and that itself is disturbing. But when you see when you get a full-on view of how second-class citizens in Romania in 1980 are treated, you are ashamed to be human for a few minutes. And when I say second-class citizens, I mean women. I mean, that is such a depressing fact that not only are we still fighting this fight on a state level, on a country level, on a worldwide level. The fact that so many people have gone through life-ending, devastating, traumatic, however you want to say it, situations. This movie shows you so many of them wrapped into like a 95-minute movie. This story is a woman that is trying to get this abortion, being accompanied by her friend, and going into a hotel with a doctor that was willing to risk his freedom, because if he gets caught giving this abortion, he could be in trouble as well. And because of all of these situations, this girl is far from home. She's paying him, in a closed door hotel situation. There's nobody watching. It's not a real medical situation. Literally everything that could be a part of this that could go wrong, or could be offensive, or could be, like we're talking about tonight, disturbing. It all happens, and it is a ghastly film. There are choices in this movie that will rock you as a person if you've never considered what some of these people will go through. If you are a woman, this is probably a very difficult film to watch. If you've ever had an abortion or needed to make that choice, or someone in your family has, this is one that might be hard to watch for the first time. But even then, like, I feel like this should be required viewing for people to gain some of that empathy that I was just talking about, because I feel like all these people that are against abortions would absolutely, cringe watching what some of those choices could cause. And we are seeing those play out in states like Texas every single day right now.
Yeah, man. It's a surreal time to be alive. Do you know what year that movie's from? Is it an older film?
2007, I think. No,
Oh,
so not
okay.
that
So
old at all.
yeah,
Yeah.
not that old. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I've never even heard of that one, actually.
It's incredible. 4 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days is what it's called.
That title on its own fucks me up. I already know I already know where this is going.
Yeah.
All right. So I hate to be cliche, but I couldn't leave him out of this, man, because he's like one of my favorite directors of all time. I feel like you have to mention Alejandro Jodorowsky. Like, he is Arthouse disturbing at its finest. He's the fucking guy. So pretty much any film by him. So if you want to go Santa Sangre from Severin, or if you want to get the box set from Arrow, my personal favorite is The Holy Mountain. It's a journey through life and finding yourself. It's Santa Sangre is probably one of my favorite movies of all time. El Topo, I haven't watched all the way through. There was a little too much animal killing for me. But dude, these need to be on 4K. Well, Santa Sangre is, but any other Jodorowsky film deserves to be on 4K. If you're not familiar with Alejandro Jodorowsky, please at least watch The Holy Mountain. I think you owe it to yourself. It's an experience. It's unlike any other movie. The plot is very hard to explain. It's just a journey through visual fuckery. That's the best way I can put it, in the best way possible. Like, it's disturbing, but it's also very beautiful. It's a gorgeous film. The color palettes, the costumes, the set pieces, and it's just, I love everything about The Holy Mountain. And same with Santa Sangre. Those two movies, I fucking adore, man. And I've watched them countless times, you know. Those are films that I always go back to. And the day that it gets announced on 4K, man, I'm telling you, it's going to be one of the best looking 4Ks. And it better be, because the amount of color, like the scenes in this, it deserves the best. So anything Jodorowsky, pretty much.
For anybody that didn't see the last time Mondo was on, we talked about surreal films, and I absolutely knew that Jodorowsky was going to get brought up tonight. So if somehow you didn't, I had Santa Sangre as my final pick that I was going to bring up. But obviously, I'm all for this. I think this is a perfect pick. Santa Sangre is my personal favorite, and that Severin 4K is mind-blowingly beautiful. Highly recommend. If somehow you haven't picked it up from Severin, please go get that. I'm going to sub in one of my other picks then, and I'm going to go, since we talked about A24 so much earlier, I'm going to talk about one that, I talked about some of that existential dread. I think people need to go out there and check out Jonathan Glazer's Under the Skin again. If you've not seen it, or if you haven't seen it since it released or anything like that, this is a disturbing art house film in every sense of the word. Scarlett Johansson, obviously amazing in this movie, but the fact that they did some of these scenes with real people on the street is an incredible feat. Jonathan Glazer is an incredible director, and what they pulled off in this is nothing short of amazing. The invasion story that this is telling at the heart of it is a very interesting one, and it says a lot about you as a filmmaker, what you're getting out of this film. Absolutely love that everybody kind of responded pretty well to this movie. I think this is one that could have turned a lot of people off, and I've not heard many people that didn't like this. I'm pretty happy with this movie, and I really hope Jonathan Glazer keeps kind of banging out some of these pretty disturbing films. I mean, Zone of Interest was great this year. He's done a lot of good stuff in the past. We need some deluxe edition releases of his earlier work. I would be very happy with that.
It's funny you mention Under the Skin. That's probably one of my favorite recent soundtracks. Like, I just love everything about the music.
Nice.
Oh my fucking God, dude. That music alone will disturb you, you know? I love everything. Again, another A24. I hope that gets a better release also. Hopefully second sight. Like, I feel like I need that in a big box, you know?
Well, and that 4K of Under the Skin would be beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. That's one of my favorite Alien movies, actually. You know, it's a very different approach to it. It's not your typical Alien film at all.
Agreed.
Visually stunning, fucks you up in the head.
Yep.
Scarlett Johansson is amazing in it. I agree, man. Annihilation and that one, those are, like, honestly, two of my favorite movies out there as far as, you know, surrealism and disturbing. But yeah, man, I do want to mention this real quick.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this question first. I've never seen this. Would you recommend The Skin I Live In?
I fucking adore that movie.
Yeah.
That is my favorite Almodovar. That movie is it would perfectly fit in tonight's topic.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's why I brought it up, because I wanted to watch it, but I wasn't sure if it would be worth my time. So last time I think I was here, I met maybe I may have mentioned it in the chat room. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how you say his name. Dusan Makovech, is that his name? The guy that did the Coca-Cola Kid.
Oh God, yeah, I haven't heard his name in a long time. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so he did some Criterion DVDs, WR Mysteries of the Organism. I actually have never seen this, but he made another movie, and this is the only movie I'm honestly ashamed of owning. I've never been bothered by a movie as much as this. I mean, if you think Salo is bad, dude, this shits on Salo. Like, if you're talking about inappropriate and disturbing from many different aspects, I'm talking about people vomiting on it. I couldn't even get through it. I was like, dude, what the fuck am I watching? And then at the end, it's the most inappropriate dance that I've ever seen, because there's a 12, 13-year-old getting a lap dance from a prostitute. It's very uncomfortable. It legitimately makes you feel dirty. So this is one movie I'm actually just like embarrassed to own. It's called The Sweet Movie. Criterion put it out on DVD. I doubt this will get a Blu-ray. I don't know how many people are a fan of this.
This got announced as getting a 4K in Germany.
Get the fuck out of it.
It's not come to be, and that got announced a while ago. This is like the most disturbing movie from what we've brought up tonight by a long shot.
Have you seen this?
Oh yeah.
Dude, this movie, I couldn't believe this is legal. I was like, how did Criterion put this out? How is this movie available? This is one movie I can guarantee you I'll never watch again. I've seen it once. I saw what I saw. I don't need it. And I'm not recommending this, by the way. This is more of a warning. It's more of a warning. I'm
it's
not
a public service announcement.
Yeah. I don't know. Celeste might like this. Celeste, go watch this and let me know. Because it is a good looking movie. Like, I get that it's artsy, but it was so fucked up that the actress had to walk away from the film and they had to go a complete different direction. Hence the reason there's two movies basically happening at the same time. But there's insanity in this, and everything is inappropriate pretty much in this movie. I don't know how they got away with it. I don't know how Criterion put this out, but yeah, I've never felt okay with watching this. This movie is the one movie I'm okay with happiness. Like, this movie actually is just like fucked. Like, this movie is not okay. So
yeah. Any others on your list that you had that you wanted to bring up tonight as like honorable mentions, or just, hey, recommend these for people?
Honestly, the first one that made me fall in love with this genre, I don't even know if you would consider this. I guess it is disturbing, at least for its time it was. Clockwork Orange. I had to mention this. It's very generic answer, but I mean, this is what got me pretty much into fucked up films. I watched this on HBO when I was like 12 years old, and I just didn't know what was happening, and I still love this movie to death. Like, this is probably my favorite Kubrick, to be honest with you. Wow. This is probably number one. Shining is 2, and then Eyes Wide Shut, man. I recently watched that again, and I forgot how good that movie was. 4K. Dude, that needs a 4K so badly. Because the transfer on the Blu-ray is not great. I watched it a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh, this almost looks DVD-ish. So I hope Criterion can somehow get those rights, put that on 4K, because I would love Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah, that's a big one. I only had, let's see, a couple more. Speaking of cliche, I was going to bring up Possession, potentially. Possession is a classic, super disturbing.
Absolutely.
Everybody needs to see Possession at least once, probably 3 times. And by the 3rd time, maybe then your head will kind of get wrapped around it. I was going to bring up The Eyes of My Mother. This is a movie that's a lot of people are turned off by, but I think is a really good look at like surviving with yourself type of film. And I think people should check that out. Another one that somehow doesn't get brought up enough, and it still feels to me like a very cliche answer here. Tetsuo the Iron Man, one of the original body horror films that wasn't that wasn't coming from a certain very Canadian filmmaker. Tetsuo is incredible and a masterpiece in so many weird ways. And when you hear the word Iron Man, this is what you should be thinking of, and not fucking Marvel. This is amazing.
Yeah, I would also mention Killing of a Sacred Deer. I think that's up there for me for sure. Anything Gaspar Noé, Climax is one of my favorite films of all time.
Yep.
And I don't even like dancing, but immediately the first 10 minutes, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
This is a one shot? Like, what is happening? Climax, if you haven't seen it, anything Gaspar Noé. Irreversible is a pretty rough watch. But you'll appreciate everything he's done. And also, what was the other one? Enter the Void. That's phenomenal. I've never seen Love. That's pretty much just like a porno, right? Love.
It's, I mean, not the whole thing, but some scenes from it, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the only one I haven't seen by him.
Did you see I Stand Alone as well?
I did. I'm waiting for that to get a good release because,
yeah,
it's pretty hard.
It's never even been in HD.
Yeah, yeah, I would love to get that on physical because I've seen it. I don't have it on physical. I actually went to an art house theater and saw his last movie, the one that Dario Argento was acting in about dementia. I forget the name. What was it?
Uh, God, I don't know why I can't think of it right now.
Vortex, right? Vortex.
Yeah, Vortex. That's it.
Vortex. Um, Probably my least favorite film of his. Very, very disturbing for a different reason because it's realistic and we're all possibly gonna hit that one day.
Yeah.
Um, but I kind of want to rewatch that because I did buy it through the partner labels. I forget which partner label put it out, but um, yeah, if you haven't seen that, that's kind of a tough watch. But it's a very different Gaspar Noé approach. It's not your usual
Yeah.
gross out, fucked up movie. It's very realistic. It's dealing with old age and accepting that you're going to be gone one day and the struggle at the end. So Dario Argento, though, that's a cool collaboration. Dario Argento and Gaspar Noé. I was like, dude, anything with Argento and Gaspar Noé has to be good. But it was
Well,
very different than what I expected.
and this is perfect because the last thing on my list that I was going to bring up was Suspiria, but the remake of Suspiria, which I
Yeah.
don't think enough people give a lot of love to. I know that right now it's literally for pre-order on 4K from Imprint. I think the remake is great. Just probably shouldn't call it a remake. It probably should have been titled something else. Both Suspirias are amazing, but this one really falls into that disturbing art house genre rather than the original. The original is just a very cool witch movie, basically. The remake is something that everybody needs to watch with an open mind and don't think of it in terms of an Argento remake because it's not that at all.
No, I agree. I think that should have been a standalone film. It's very different, and I honestly love that movie, man. I think that deserves a lot more love. I know it's getting a 4K. Is it Umbrella or
Imprint,
Imprint?
still
Imprint.
Australia, yeah.
Yeah, Imprint. A little too expensive. I think it was almost like $100. It was like $90 or something. So I'm hoping eventually that gets another, like, again, second sight. Please give me a Suspiria box set. I would absolutely love that. But yeah, dude, that's a pretty long movie too. It's almost like 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours.
Yeah, it's a long one for sure.
Yeah, but love that movie, man. I mean, Mia Goth. That was the first time I saw Mia Goth. I think. Um, was it that? Yeah, I think that had to be. But yeah, I highly recommend Suspiria. Also, trying to think what else. What else was out there? Do you have any other ones?
That was my entire list. Obviously, there's a bunch more that could fit into this that are classics. Even something like Nobuhiko Obayashi's House could be art house disturbing in some ways. But I mean, really, the whole side of this is disturbing is kind of subjective, and it really depends on
Sure.
what you think is going to be disturbing for you. I mean, for a lot of people, just like Toby just said, Megan is Missing is one of the most fucked up movies of all time. That movie didn't do much for me. I got to be honest. There was
Same.
one
But I
disturbing
wouldn't
scene.
also consider that art house though. That's just like a
No, definitely not Art House.
you
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of these movies that stick out for a reason or have a reputation for a reason. And in all reality, like we haven't. I think you said it earlier in the show, but one of the most obvious things you could bring up a Serbian film here. It is
Right.
absolutely meant as an art house film, and absolutely is disturbing on purpose, and was meant to be a problem here. The way that some of these movies are made is to challenge the viewer or to challenge the director or to challenge the government, and no matter what, it's breaking boundaries. That's what a lot of these are for.
Yeah, I see Toby and Stan both mentioned Antiviral and Infinity Pool, both being Brandon Cronenberg films. Um, Also Possessor. I think all three of his films are definitely art house. I don't know if
Yep.
they're disturbing necessarily, but then again, it is subjective. That's a guy, man. I cannot wait for him to carry on tradition as
Yep.
far as the name and the legacy because he's fucking killing it. He's 3 for 3 so far, man. I
Yep.
love what he's doing. Um, I haven't seen his daughter's film. I forget the title. It came out this year, right?
Yeah, just recently, I
Humane. I think it was
something
Humane,
like
maybe.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited
I
to see that. It's kind of
even
neat to see like Cronenberg and M. Night's daughters directing. That's kind of neat. I like that.
even the next Papa Cronenberg, the Shrouds. That one's supposed to be great too. That's I think it just played a couple festivals. We're about to get
Yeah,
a full release soon.
I heard. Yeah, it's supposed to be coming out this year. I think, right?
Yeah, I believe so. So
Yeah.
probably somewhere around October, I would imagine. It's a Cronenberg, so
Hey man,
yeah.
the whole family is directing, and I'm all for it. Please
Hell
make it.
yeah,
I
especially
think,
when you're good.
yeah, absolutely. I think Robert Eggers' brothers also getting into
Oh,
directing.
interesting.
Yeah,
Did
so
not see that.
there's a lot of family stuff going on as far as the new wave of directors, but I'm here for it, man. We have a amazing roster of art house horror directors in 2024. And again, Alex Garland, please don't retire because you're one of those people. I believe in that man. Dude, I'm telling you, anything he does after Men Annihilation and Ex Machina, I was like, yo, anything this guy does, I'm supporting it, like 100%. Especially Men, man. That's one of my favorite movies. I know most people hate it, but give it another watch. I don't know. It looked beautiful. I love the message, and it's very different. You know, it's just a very very different.
Um, well, I think that's it for what we were going to cover tonight.
Yes, sir.
Reminder to everybody, VS is still, going all weekend, but also reminder what I said earlier about sticking to your budgets and not going over your limits just because something looks shiny or extra cheap. You don't have to buy these right now. It's VS. There will be another sale in 6 weeks. It seems like that is the culture that they're building. So just be prepared for that. This isn't going to go away. It's a wild world out there, and make smart decisions. But in all reality, what I really want to say is thank you for being here, sir. Um, I've wanted you back for quite some time, and we get to show off your art every month, and I love talking about the stuff that we do because not everybody wants to talk about disturbing art house films or surreal films.
Hey man, next time I come on, maybe we can talk about cults and films. That's another
Sweet. I
that's
love
another
cults.
subgenre that I love. I have an obsession with cults. Any movie that features cults, tell me about it because I will buy it. But yeah, man, I appreciate you inviting me on. It's been a pleasure. Going on almost 4 hours, so we put out a nice banger tonight. Um, but yeah, avocados almost cost $2.50 here a piece now. So be wise with your money. You don't need to spend $750 to buy a poster. Be wise.
Exactly.
Don't go in
Exactly.
debt for slipcovers. But hey, it's your life. If you want to do that, do what you got to do. But it's been a pleasure. I appreciate all the love and support, and look forward to the October release because I think October is probably going to be my favorite cover. So definitely
I
look
can't
out for
wait
the
to see what
October
you do
one.
for that one. Yeah.
Yeah, October is going to be great.
All right. For everybody else, we'll see you next Thursday. I'm gonna call it a night. I didn't think this was gonna be 4 hours, but here we are. And so check us out next Thursday. Next Thursday will be Will coming back. It's the first of the month. It's gonna be another long show, guaranteed. We got a lot to talk about. We're gonna cover some of what happened on our LA trip. And until next time, if you are wanting to continue more of this community aspect and talk about all these and ask everybody questions and have access to people from a handful of labels, check out my Discord, check out the Patreon. Link is in the description below. We've got some people in there that you'd love to converse with. Super supportive. One of the most welcoming film communities online. I appreciate it. Happy to see everybody that's joined recently. And until next Thursday, have a good one. Go watch a couple more movies. Thank you for watching The Disconnected. On the way out, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, that you've liked the video, and that you've copied the link to be able to share it with someone else that may appreciate this.